Welcome back, everybody, and an especially warm welcome because this is going to be the last welcome of this cycle. We are going to finish cycle 1 in this video. I'm excited. It's probably going to take me a few days in my real time to finish this. But for you, it'll be just one straight through video. What I want to do in this is I want to start off with going through a quick overview of the things that we've learned about Crete and the Argonauts and the Argo in general. I'm not going to be covering everything that we learned, but I'm going to especially hit on some of the key points, mostly about Crete in particular. Once we do that, I'll cut over to talking about what has specifically happened in this playthrough since the last video. The last video that I posted was the day 66 video where we killed the pursuer once and for all. Incredible. That was the thing that I set out to do in this playthrough of the cycle, and I was, oh my gosh, I was so happy with that. Just incredible battle there. But yeah, so I'll give a more specific catch up of like the things that have happened since that video. And then we will jump into, one, I'm going to reread an adventure that I read while I was off camera, but it's an important adventure. So I want to go through that and talk about that before we get into the actual like finale of our story. So yeah, with that, let's start off and just kind of do a quick recap of what we've learned in cycle 1 so far. So we as the Argonauts came to Crete on the Argo, our ship, in order to find this place, this thing called the Daedalus Vault, because we needed parts in order to repair our ship, the Argo, after it suffered significant damage from an attack from this giant monster, Primordial. We knew that in Crete, and the reason that we knew this is that our mentor, our guide, the old priest, basically told us that, hey, there's this thing called the Daedalus Vault. It has technology that is just various contraptions that were put together by this great inventor named Daedalus. That is the only place where we can get technology that is going to help us to repair our ship and make it deep sea worthy again. Like at least our ship is in good enough condition that we can kind of stay near, land and everything. We just can't venture too far out, otherwise we might sink. So the old priest told us, hey, if we want to get access to this Daedalus Vault in Crete, we need to talk to the king of Crete, who he sits in Knossos, the city of Knossos, and his name is King Minos. And we need to go talk to him, have him get us access to the Daedalus Vault, and then we will get our repairs and be on the way. So we go to Crete, and we go into Knossos, and we find that King Minos is missing. He's supposedly been missing ever since the death of his son, Androgeos, I think, if I'm remembering that correctly. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. But in his place were two princesses, Princess Phaedra and Princess Akacalis. They inform us of the missing king and say that they don't know where he is and that they would like us to help go find him. And they offer Princess Akacalis to come along with us as kind of a guide of sorts, in order to provide some information about the land and the people and all this kind of stuff. So we accept Princess Akacalis into our group, allow her to come on the ship, and we start sailing around looking for clues to where the king might be. And along the way, we learn a little bit about the history of Crete and like the current state of Crete that it's in, that we're in right now. And actually, maybe I can show the map view of this is not excellent, but maybe it'll help to have a visual of like Crete itself while we're doing this. So let's do. Let me change the lights here a little bit. Go dark, and then we'll go bright, but that should be a better, less glary view. So we don't have a great view of the island of Crete itself, but you can kind of see some of the outskirts. And what we learned is that Crete is Crete is suffering from these primordial attacks that have been plaguing many cities across ancient Greece after this event called the Eschaton. But Crete in particular is also dealing with this like kind of plague known as the Labyrinth that's basically being heralded by this special titan, special primordial, the Alpha Temenos, who is this like massive worm-like creature that just has huge chunks of labyrinth protruding off of it. And this plague it's kind of like a mindset. It basically indoctrinates people into this cult, and these people are just full of despair and thinking that life is hopeless and meaningless and there's no point to anything. And, you know, it makes a lot of sense because these people are, it's almost like an idea that these people are clinging to because they need something to cling to, even if that is like, that something is nothingness. It's essentially the truth of the labyrinth, and embrace the truth that is this idea that like nothing actually matters, because a lot of these people were not doing well under the rule of King Minos. You know, some people thrived, but a lot of people did not. And some of these people that did not are now being referred to as Labyrinthians, who have kind of converted over into this following of the labyrinth and believing in its quote-unquote truth. And the leader of these Labyrinthians, the human symbol representing this this cult, is the Punished, is what he is referred to as. And he's this, I don't think we actually have an idea of like the age of him necessarily. If I have the Doom card here, I don't really have that handy, do I? Oh, it's not even on the Doom card. But he is this figure that has basically been transformed by the labyrinth. Like, he has bits of skin that are just coming off in angular manners, and just when the labyrinth infects, like, somebody can follow the labyrinth, but when the labyrinth can also like infect a person and physically change them, just like it can physically change the land and change it into these like sharp, angular, cold looking, just crazy architectural anomalies, I'll say. It almost turns people into architectural anomalies. Let's see. Along with King Minos not really being the most, not everybody thriving under his rule, King Minos was also sacrificing people regularly to this Minotaur that he kept trapped in this labyrinth that Daedalus, the inventor, also helped him build to keep the Minotaur there. So Minos had his problems, and there was at least one man who wanted to stop Minos and change things in Crete, and that man's name was Theseus. Theseus was attempting to stop Minos' rule and change things and provide a more positive living experience within all of Crete. And so Theseus started a movement and built a following of people for his cause, who would later become known as the Hornsworn. And Theseus would provide tons of resources to people who weren't being cared for under the Minoan rule. Theseus's mission around this overthrow of King Minos became a bit complicated when he met Ariadne, and Ariadne is King Minos' daughter. Theseus and Ariadne meet and quickly fall in love, and eventually they marry. And on the night that they marry, Theseus is betrayed by his closest, most trusted lieutenants, who turn him over to King Minos. And now when we learn that information, we don't know why he's being turned over. We just know that there was a betrayal, and this represented a huge shift in this whole movement that Theseus was going for. The timeline here is a little fuzzy, at least for me, where I think at some point after he's captured, Theseus actually kills the Minotaur. And then from that point on, Theseus is dead. We don't know a lot about everything that's happening around here. It might also just be that I have some of the timeline wrong, but we all believe that Theseus is dead. Now let's jump back to Ariadne, who we said was a daughter of Minos. Notably, she is referred to as the only daughter of Minos. So there are two children that Minos has at least self-proclaimed to have had, his one son and his one daughter. Now keep that in mind, because earlier in this whole recap, we were talking about Princess Akakallis and Princess Phaedra, who were supposedly daughters of Minos, but now we're getting some information that, well, maybe they're not daughters of Minos. And we don't really know what that means. Does that mean they're just not, maybe they are somewhat bastard children, or we don't know, but some conflicting information here. But Ariadne, we know, this is a true daughter of Minos. Now, before we continue with the story, I think we need to jump a little bit into a flashback, because there's a key piece of information of Ariadne that we learn during the story, where King Minos discovers some ruins of the Centimanes, and the Centimanes are these ancient beings. I don't know how ancient they are actually relative to these times, but they were these beings that lived before the current people live on Crete, and they were these many-handed giants, these wild beings that were known to be intelligent and powerful, at least powerful. I don't know how, I think they were intelligent as well, but Minos lusted for this power. He wanted to learn about the Centimanes and understand them. He wanted to study these ruins, and because he wanted to just continue to grow and grow and grow in power. And in comes the god Poseidon, who says, I will make you a deal. I will grant you the knowledge to understand these ruins and these statues and all of these remains that the Centimanes left. I will grant you the ability to have that for one night. In return, I want unlimited human sacrifices. And King Minos says, absolutely, that sounds good to me. So Poseidon turns Minos into a bull. That's the wording that we're given. We're not given some context on like how literal or how figurative it is, but from everything that we've heard, like we've never heard someone refer to Minos as like a physical looking bull. So for like what we are led to believe is that's either something internally or it's some kind of like figure of speech. But from that, sometime after that whole event happens, that is when King Minos and his wife have their daughter Ariadne, who is the Minotaur. So now we have some information about, well, okay, so Ariadne was the Minotaur, but maybe she wasn't always in the form of the Minotaur. Like, was it that she was sometimes a person, sometimes she was this Minotaur? Was it that like she, after these sacrifices happened, then she would become quote unquote like sated to some degree, and she would be, no longer take the physical form of the Minotaur? We're not sure. I'm just kind of speculating and talking about like, here's some things that are going through my head as we're learning some of this information. But we also have the information that Theseus killed the Minotaur, and Theseus and Ariadne were married. So there's some things there that are just, there's a lot going on here. And we don't have a lot of like, we don't have multiple sources to confirm this stuff with, but it's a wild, convoluted story. Now cut back to what we are trying to do. We are trying to find King Minos and have him get us access to the Daedalus Vault. We're learning all this stuff about Crete, like whatever, we may or may not care, but most importantly, like we are here first and foremost to repair our ship, the Argo. So we are looking for clues to King Minos. They point us towards this ship called the Marathonian, which is run by, I believe they're like a militant group of Athenians called the Simici. So we find their ship, we come aboard, we're on good terms with them right now. We basically help them out a little bit, and so they return the favor and introduce us to a prisoner that they have named Xenodice, who is supposed to be sisters with Akakallis and Phaedra, the two princesses that we met in place of King Minos. And Akakalis is on our ship, the Argo. So Xenodice has basically become a follower of the Labyrinth. And we get a little bit of backstory about what happened with her. Basically, like her and her brother Deucalion and some of these, and like the other sisters tried to stop Temenos. They set up this whole plan to try to kill Temenos. They lure him into this broken Minos Manos unit and try to execute him that way. The plan works as they expect it to, except Temenos comes back to life. Whether it's like the same Temenos or it was just like a new version of that Temenos, we're not sure, but he comes back to life. He is not dead. So this throws Xenodice into a spiral. She goes crazy and she's just like, you know what, it is all pointless. The life is just despair. Despair is the answer. The labyrinth is the answer. But here is what I can provide you, which is this map, which will help you find what's called the Sepulchre Acropolis, which is the grave of Ariadne. If you're going to find King Minos, he's likely to be at his daughter's grave. So we take this map, we find these clues that can help us find the Sepulchre Acropolis. We get there, and what do we find? Yes, we do indeed find King Minos. And that's not the only thing we find. We find the Daedalus Vault. The Daedalus Vault was at the same location as the Sepulchre Acropolis. So while we're there, we go and we say, all right, hey, we're just going to gather the parts that we need to fix our ship while we're here. Why not? We could move on from Crete if we want to, but we choose to stay and help. We talk to King Minos while we're there. And what we learn is that there was something special about Ariadne. Maybe it was the fact that she was almost carrying this curse, or like part of a curse passed down from Poseidon on behalf of her father. We're not really sure. We don't really have that information. I'm just kind of speculating there. But she was special in that her grief supposedly caused this crack in this kind of like ethereal wall between here, the real world, quote unquote, that is Crete, and potentially some other like dimension or some other place, some darker place. And King Minos is talking with Daedalus about this. Like Daedalus is basically explaining this to King Minos, saying like, you know, here's what happened. Here's how we need to fix everything. After Ariadne dies, Daedalus says we need to take Ariadne and bury her near this fractured ethereal wall so that she can help, like her presence can help mend it. Like if her grief caused it, maybe she can help mend it and patch it in some way just by being here. That's not what happens. Instead, what happens is because her body, like her being there, ends up drawing through the presence of this creature, this worm-like creature that goes and infests and inhabits the labyrinth and uses the shell and becomes Alpha Temenos. So that's how we kind of get some origin about, you know, this monster that is rampaging Crete and is like the origin of the labyrinthian quote unquote plague and this thing that's taking over both the people and the actual geography of Crete itself. And King Minos has no idea how to stop this. He gives us this information about Temenos to say, you know, there's no killing it. We like just by trying to kill it, you're essentially like killing the shadow of it. You're not killing the creature itself. So we have to find a way to kill the creature itself and not just its shadow or its copy or whatever this is, because this creature is like kind of half in Crete, half in some other place, but it's in Crete enough that it's able to cause all this destruction. So while we're at the Sepulchre Acropolis, Temenos decides this is a fantastic time to show up. And so we get attacked by Temenos. And I believe where we left off with that was that King Minos had actually sacrificed himself, really just killed himself, and like just thrust himself at Temenos. So if I remember correctly, I think King Minos is dead. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. and there's no true heir to the throne right now because Ariadne was like his only true children are dead, and so that kind of leaves this power vacuum that has to be filled. And then we kind of need to figure out what's still going on with Akakalus and Phaedra and these other, like this family that is essentially saying they are like children of Minos, when that may not actually be true. But we repel Temenos. The Argonauts get in our Titans. We use them to drive off Temenos. And then we say, all right, well, there's something special about Ariadne. We need to bring her and her coffin, her grave with us onto the ship. And so we put that in the hands of the local tech guru on the Argo, Alcibiades, and then he, and the help of the other folks from the Last Academy, which is like this group of scholars, or almost like, I guess it's almost like a college basically that's on board the Argo. They take this grave and try to use it to create a device that will trap Temenos in this plane and basically give us a way to kill it. So they build this device that's able to emanate this oncological field that will help us kill it for good. So now we are on our way to Knossos. And the reason that we're going to Knossos is because we had a unexpected visit from the Punished himself, who came aboard the Argo and basically told us, I am going to march on Knossos, and the Labyrinth will take the city and consume it, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. So he gets taken as prisoner and gets taken to Knossos. I mean, he's going there anyway, right? Might as well just put him in shackles and bring him there ourselves, or have the Minoans bring him there themselves. So we are now traveling back to Knossos because if we're going to try to find Temenos somewhere, that's the place to do it. Okay. So I'm sure I missed a lot of like big things in the story. I hope I didn't misremember anything significant. But I try to tell everything that we have covered in the story so far. There's going to be a couple other pieces of information that I'm going to fill you in on that we learned since my last video. But with that, I need to pause and I need to go make myself another old fashioned. So I will be right back. All right, so what has happened since the last video? The last video I think was day 66 when we killed the pursuer. Woo, we didn't have an adversary from day 66 onwards in this cycle. That was an amazing feeling. Actually, kind of a really weird feeling too, to not have something just hunting us down. But let's see, we've gone on a couple adventures since then. We closed out, let me pull up our Scribe app here. We closed out the Dreams Laid Bare Adventure Hub, and I think it's the only other. We got another adventure for Uneasy Rest Ahead, but Dreams Laid Bare is the only other adventure hub we were able to close. I could look around and try to find like one more adventure hub. Like I could travel west one space and see if there's an adventure hub on that space. But then I don't know, it's gonna just make me run longer on days, and I'm fine just like going in as is. So let's see, let me go back to this view. We had an Argonaut retire. You might notice a new person in our crew on that bottom right screen. We have, I'm going to butcher her name because I don't actually know how to say that last word. It's the Orphan of Dumt. Demountain? I have no idea. So we're just going to call her the Orphan. But she joined our crew after Oleander retired. Oleander's Nemos was basically talking about how he needed to go, he needed to leave the Argo to go enjoy and explore his freedom. So he left us, and in his place we have the Orphan here. Additionally, I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but our card for Anacreon here is flipped over. We are no longer on the bad side of this Fated Nemos. We are on the good side. We have resolved this Fated Nemos, and now we have this ability. Oh no, I need to fix my my dice cam. Give me 1 second. There we go. All right, I was worried I was gonna have to stop the recording and then stitch multiple videos together, but I was able to fix it. So our fancy new good side of this Fated Nemos is if you take your turn last during the Titan round, lose 1 fate. So it turned into a positive thing. We no longer have to deal with that negative, that -1 to courage either. So that's excellent. I need to figure out a better system for tracking Fated Nemoses, because technically once you resolve them, they're supposed to go back to the Fated Nemos deck, because another Argonaut could get this Left Behind Fated Nemos as well. But I need a better way to also track the positive benefits of it. Let's see, what else has changed here? We crafted some gear from the Pursuer. I think the only one I'll probably be using in this fight, cut over to Olympia's view, is this Pursuer Ultimatum card, which says Superior Reflex, which is during that window of opportunity, we can move 3 spaces, which is crazy. So we have that, and we still have the Pursuer Imperative as well, because we were able to craft another one of those Pursuer Imperatives. So we have gear that can reflex us 1. We have gear that can advanced reflex us, which is 2 spaces. And then we have a gear that can advanced reflex 3 spaces. So we are like all set on reflexing here, which reflexing is just a phenomenal mechanic. It's constantly useful. But I think that's enough about like mechanically things that have changed since the last video. Not a lot has changed. If you want to see some of the amazing gear that we have in action, go watch that battle with the Pursuer if you haven't already. It was pretty amazing, and I haven't felt that lucky since we were getting those awakening rolls earlier on in our series. But I mentioned that we did a couple of adventures in the part that I wasn't recording. One of those adventures is the Omega adventure for the Dreams Laid Bare hub, which is the one I'm going to be reading shortly. The other one was for a different adventure hub. I can't remember which adventure hub it was, but we basically spent one day where we were out on the Argo, and we look behind us and we see these smaller ships that are sailing behind the Argo trying to catch up, and then behind them we see this wall of Labyrinth that is just coming closer and closer to us and swallowing these ships. And as the wall catches up, it briefly slows down, and you hear the destruction of these ships as they're being torn apart and transformed, and the screams of the people on board who are being transformed and killed and maimed, and it's just gruesome. And one ship catches all the way up to the Argo. It's the last remaining ship, and we know that if we just sail off, we could just leave. The Argo will be able to get away from the Labyrinth, but if we leave, we know this ship would not be able to make it. And so we open our docks to the what is it, like the trade dock, and we allow the people aboard that small ship to come on board and become part of the crew of the Argo. We save them, and then once we do that, we're able to get this like boost of speed out and away from the time front. It's basically described as like this ungodly speed, or godlike speed, or something to that effect. Another thing that was noteworthy in that passage was that the Argonauts, at least one of the Argonauts, kind of recognized it as like they saw that wall of Labyrinth that was just approaching, and it reminded them of the time front. And we don't know what the time front is. That was something where our Argonaut was like, I don't know why I thought of this. This doesn't make any sense to me. So maybe it'll make sense eventually, maybe it won't, but I thought it was something noteworthy to call out. But later on that evening, we go to I guess we'll say the mess hall, and we're trying to get some food and some wine for the night. And we see the captain of this ship that we rescued, who is a Hornsworn. You know, he was a follower of these ideas of Theseus that he was trying to bring about. And he's talking about Theseus. And one thing that stuck out that he said was that he called Theseus a rebel prince of Athens. And he used his Athens connections to get much needed supplies to these people of Crete. And then one day, that channel was closed forever, burned. So we don't know, from that story alone, we don't really know exactly what happened. But I think if we bring up some of the other information that we learned previously in the cycle, we might be able to start piecing some things together. Because if Theseus was a prince of Athens, then this wasn't just some altruistic act that he was doing with coming to Crete and trying to change the lives of these people who live here and make it, you know, like overthrow Minos because he's not a good ruler. Maybe there was a little bit more of a political motivation behind it. You know, if he has actual political ties to Athens, then that seems a little bit more realistic. And then we knew that Theseus and Ariadne loved each other and got married. Maybe that was the thing that caused that bridge to be burned. You know, those resources that Theseus was getting. Maybe Athens was originally sending them because they viewed it as, hey, like, this coup that we're trying to do, like, we see these resources as being well spent because we're winning over the people of Crete. But now we think our prince has decided to go his own way and do his own thing and marry this daughter of the king and cut ties with them. So I don't know. I think maybe it's a little, like, it's worthwhile to think about that, because it could give some information about, like, what actually happened here in Crete. And so here we sit, one tile north of Knossos. And the last thing that I want to do before I get into the actual reading of new content, well, new content for you, is that I want to read some old content for me, which is that Omega Adventure Hub from Dreams Laid Bare. So any paragraphs that come up that are like, oh, here were some decisions that we had to make, I'll describe those decisions and what actually happened with them. But let's get into that story real quick. So this story happened a few days ago in the time of the Argo. Another polis, a Temenos emergence. The Argo lies at anchor some distance from the coast. The walls of the nearby polis are crumbling. Whole sections plummet to the waters below. Even here you can hear the deep rumbling sounds of destruction. A woman clad in labyrinthian robes approaches you. You know not how she got onto your ship. It's high time we met, Argonauts. I am Nikepharos. You look at her, dumbfounded. You've been looking for her all this time, and here she is, coming to you of her own volition. Either the fates smiling upon you or cursing you. I have come to bargain, she says once you find a private place to talk. I need your help to rescue my son. If you do, I will tell you what you wish to know. She smiles for a brief second before donning a neutral, calm mask. As a token of good faith, I will tell you how it all began. Before Theseus even knew about the Minotaur or the plight of the people, he came to Crete on behalf of Athens to destroy the Minoan dynasty. He was an agent of chaos. Nikepharos nods. His initial plan was to destabilize Minos' rule and the entire Minoan system, but everything changed when he fell for Ariadne. And then? That is all I will tell you for now. My son is in the city. She looks at you with cold determination, not like a mother pleading for her son's life, but like someone who knows what they want and how to get it. You can tell this kind of attitude, coupled with her calm demeanor and smart thinking, is what has allowed her to survive this long. This city is in Temenos' path. and will be destroyed. Oh, wait, sorry, that was me that said that. The city is in Temenos' path and will be destroyed, you say, and she nods. So we had an option of we could go and immediately try to help her find her son and then ask more questions about the story later, or we could basically say, no, it's too dangerous if we go now. We'll let Temenos do his thing and then we'll search for the wreckage afterwards. So I actually made up my own option 3, which basically said like, I don't need the story from this woman. I know what's going on. I basically surmised this from the information I already had. I'm just going to go my own way. Just kidding. That's not at all what I did. I chose option 1. I said, let's go into the city. Let's go find her son first, because that is way more time pressing. She seems like a woman who will stay true to her word. So let's go to paragraph 35 here. You gather a team of volunteers and a Titan, just the one so as not to draw the Temenos' attention, and head out to the city. After his initial attack, the giant primordial has settled into some sort of lull in the middle of the city. The pyramid tentacles twitch in the air in a restless sleep. But you know this isn't the end. The destruction surrounding you, the burning buildings, the chasm swallowing whole city blocks, the maze outcrops, these were just the foreshocks. The biggest quake hasn't happened yet. As you make your way through the streets, you wonder how many times you will have to walk among crumbling stones and dead bodies. Will this constant cycle of destruction ever stop? You frown on seeing the accompanying Titan looking around, almost lost. Has the Argonaut junctioned with it noticed something? You turn to Nikephoros, who walks by your side, silent and serious. When was the last time you saw your... Well, dang, I keep thinking it's her that's saying stuff. I already read this. When was the last time you saw your son? You ask her. Long ago. Too long. Her gaze turns to you for a moment, and she studies your face before she sighs. You have agreed to help me. I am grateful. Let me tell you more. Do you know why Theseus cut ties with Athens? Ariadne changed him, right? She smiles softly. In a way. He also saw how the people were living under the Minoan dynasty. Athens' involvement wouldn't have changed that. On the contrary, Athens wanted chaos. A rival ruined. A serious look flashes across her face. But Ariadne had legitimacy. Under Ariadne and Theseus, Crete could turn into a modern society free of tyrants or gods. As you can imagine, that kind of ambition earned him a lot of enemies, and not all were mortal. As you digest this new information, you reach a small hill. In the streets below, several groups are dealing with the aftermath of the initial Temenos attack. The Horned Guard is helping citizens evacuate. A dozen Hornsworn are looting a half-crumbling villa. A group of Labyrinthians sit around muttering, their faces turned toward the Temenos. This reminds you of something. And just like before, your search would go much faster with some help. The silhouette of the Temenos looms above you, the singular maw gazing into the distance like an inverted eye. Its size makes you distrust your senses. Then we had some instruction here about gaining fate, blah, blah, blah. We chose, this is basically like, do you want the Horned Guard? Do you want the Horned Guard to help you find Nikephoros' son? Do you want help from the Hornsworn, or do you want help from the Labyrinthians? And I made this choice purely based off of who I was gonna get diplomacy with, because I wanted some more diplomacy from the Minoans, so I'll give a standing of where we're at with diplomacy here. So we've sacrificed a little bit from the Labyrinthians and the Hornsworn in order to get some with the Minoans. I was hoping to be able to get to friendly with the Minoans before the end of the cycle, but I don't think that's going to happen. So anyway, we chose the Minoans. We would see paragraph 46. You quickly explain your situation to the captain of the Horned Guard. He seems perplexed at first, but he eventually spares some warriors to help you look for Nikephoros' son. Then we gained some danger there. All those increases went away with, we fought Labyrinthos 4 a couple times. Yeah, we fought Labyrinthos 4 twice since the last battle. Let's see, paragraph 80. Okay. With more people, you manage to cover more ground, but the Temenos' presence is still unsettling. It started to move again, slowly but surely. You don't like the way it unhurriedly approaches the Argo. You spot your Titan behaving strangely once again. This time, it's looking at the Temenos as if contemplating it. Could the Argonaut junction with it be having some issues in the Balanonian? Balaneon? I think that's it. Nikephoros looks at the Temenos briefly before she follows you. What happened? Oh, dang it. What happened when Theseus betrayed Athens? You ask her as you press on. Athens sent word to Minos, and thus the war began. Theseus became a pariah in some circles, a rebellious hero in others. As for the gods, they punished him by awakening the Minotaur earlier than usual. She sighs. If only he and Ariadne had had more time. They were a good match. You nod. Maybe they were, but that's little comfort for the Cretans now. You push those thoughts aside and focus on the task at hand. You redouble your efforts to locate Nikephoros' son, all in vain. He is either not here or already on his way to Elysium. The Temenos roars. The sound is deafening, like a siren, but at the same time there's a rhythm to it. It's a solemn hymn, one of despair. It's much closer to the Argo now, ready to unleash its final onslaught. You have seen the damage it can cause. Then because we chose the Hornsworn, we got to see paragraph 38. Your Horned Guard allies come up empty-handed, which makes some of your crew question why you asked them to help to begin with. You cannot wait any longer. You have to leave. I understand, Nikephoros says as she lowers her head and follows you back to the Argo. Then let's see, we got to see paragraph 77. As you reach the Argo, you remember something you heard and turn to Nikephoros. How did Theseus die? You see a shadow of hesitation cross her face. She stops walking and looks at you for several seconds, then sighs. When he learned of Ariadne's passing, he went mad with grief and lost all sense of purpose. He became a shadow of his former self, and even that shadow dwindled until it was nothing. He didn't matter. Nothing mattered. So was the truth of the Labyrinth born. You freeze. You've heard those words before. No, you stammer. Yes, Argonauts. He isn't Theseus anymore, but he is very much alive, punished for all his dreams. Because the Minoan guide was with us, we got to read. Upon hearing Nikephoros' words, Akakalos falls to her knees. After all this time? He's still alive? Tears run down her face as she brings a hand to her mouth in a vain attempt to stifle her sobs. A smile is peeking out from behind her fingers. Then she looks up at Nikephoros. But how can it be? It's impossible. The relief on her face tells you she believes it nonetheless. Nikephoros just looks at her with misty eyes. The Labyrinthians, continues Akakalos crying. All of this is our fault. We have contributed to this horror, she gasps in shock. We couldn't have known. How could we? And yet... You've never seen her so shaken before. No, it cannot be. It can't. She rises to her feet and leaves, muttering to herself between sobs. At that moment, you hear a noise behind you. The Titan accompanying you turns toward you, head cocked to the side. You've never seen it act like this before. It somehow looks more knowing? As if it's aware of everything that's been going on. Nikephoros smiles as she looks at it. It has accepted the truth. She turns to you. Life is a labyrinth. But the way you navigate it is up to you. My son has passed, but I have made my peace with it. She smiles sadly and steps away from you, onto the wooden pier. Now I need to make my peace with myself. Farewell. You try to stop her, but she's surprisingly fast. You'd run after her, but the Temenos is here, looming over the port like postponed doom finally showed up to collect. The only thing you can do is retreat. And from there we got to gain a Logic Breaker Titan. Let me turn on the lights here. It's getting too dark in here for me. Oh, not those lights. Dang. So yeah, I thought that was a very important, I felt, Omega hub or Omega adventure to read, because we learned that Theseus isn't dead. If you, maybe you could have guessed that from like some context clues going through the story and everything, but we learned that Theseus is the punished. We also learned in there, like, I think something that Nikiphora said along the lines of when he, being Theseus, when Theseus learned of Ariadne's death, it makes me wonder, like, so did he not kill the Minotaur, or was it just that he didn't know, like when he killed the Minotaur, he didn't know he was killing Ariadne? Like, how did that all work? But so clearly, like, if he did kill the Minotaur, when it happened, he didn't know. It's not like he was doing this thing where it's like, oh, I have to make this sacrifice for us. Like, this is the sacrifice that we have to make. It sounds like it was something that whether he killed the Minotaur or somebody else did, he learned that Ariadne and the Minotaur were the same thing after the fact. We also got some confirmation there that this, like, Theseus did originally come from Athens as part of this Athenian plot to overthrow the Minoan rule. And I wanted to share my thought process after that first adventure about, like, the captain who we saved from the ship, because I thought it was kind of important to share that, and I wanted to share, like, my thought process I was going through it, because like, I wasn't trying to spoil anything for the adventure hub, so I don't know, maybe I should have done that differently. But I do, like, I did forget a lot of this story from my first playthrough, because it was over 2 years ago now that I originally played through the first cycle. But it is a really cool story, and, like, I like how you get, it's kind of frustrating how you have this unreliable narrator concept, but it gives a gratifying feeling when you're trying to, like, piece together the story, and then you have these, like, thoughts about, oh, this is what could be happening, and then whether it's the truth or not, at least we got some other, like, at least another perspective that backs up some other information that we got and some other conclusions that we drew. So I think some other people have done deeper dives on these stories than I have too. Like, if you're really interested in these stories, like the Discord channels, I think the one where people have done the biggest deep dives on these stories is the older unofficial Discord channel. But there were a few folks who were like, especially for the first cycle, like, I was glancing through it. I intentionally didn't read a lot of it because I didn't read a lot of it today because I wanted to not get spoilers for things that I have forgotten. Like, I don't want to spoil myself on things that I have forgotten, and I want to relearn as I go along. But I mean, it was like pages of bullet points of, like, a proposed timeline for how things supposedly happened. So I don't know if somebody's already done, like, YouTube videos on deep dives into the stories, but, like, especially into the later cycles too. Like, I would love to see that kind of stuff, because yeah, it's a really interesting story, and we're not going to get the whole picture of everything until we have what I think it's supposed to be like a trilogy of Aeon Trespass games. So we'll have some questions answered, some questions won't be answered, maybe some questions will never be answered. But I think it's also cool that Marcin, the owner and creator of Into the Unknown and Aeon Trespass, and basically who made this entire game. Yeah, anyway, he's active in the Discord, at least from time to time, and I think he chimes in on some of the story points, whether it's like maybe clarify some things or just kind of like add some provoking questions, which I think is fun because I also hope he's like getting some things. I hope he's kind of like shaping the story maybe a little bit based off of what people are thinking, just to kind of, whether it's like trying to subvert what our expectations are, like if he thinks that, oh, well, you all think that this is how these stories are going to go, like we're actually going to change that so it's not, I don't know. I just think it's fun that he's in there and contributing. Makes it for a cool community. So anyway, I am we are almost close to an hour and we're like 50 minutes in. But I think I need to get some music on here because I just realized I have not been playing music this whole time and it has felt eerily quiet, for me at least. You won't hear it. But I think I need to get some music on and we're going to get into the finale of Cycle 1. So let's head on over to our Scribe app over here. Because we're going to need it as we move south on day 74 to head to Knossos. Dun dun dun. We're going to gain a Doom because there is a Doom marker on that. And even though it's explored, oh, wait, we're at 4 out of 5. It's not really going to matter. It's not really going to matter because we're not going to be getting to the Doom step, I don't think. So that's okay. Now we will go to the exploration step. Boom. Let's see. And then we'll have one last chest to craft things if we want. We have shipyard. Oh my gosh. I am tempted to go back and watch all of the recordings that I did of the adventure phase or the voyage phase to see if I draw shipyard every time. I think there's more than one shipyard card in here, but like I swear, every single exploration step. Okay, you know what? We're gonna do this. Maybe I'm just bad at shuffling. We're gonna do shuffling a bunch of different ways here, because shipyard comes up every time, every single day. We have been in what? This is day 70. What day did I say it was? Day like 73, 74. And I feel like 70 of those days I've gotten shipyard. We're gonna do some mass shuffling here. Yeah, we're gonna split the deck a bunch of times. We're even gonna do this. Am I wasting your time by shuffling this much on camera? Absolutely. I really hope you don't fast forward for this. I hope you do slow motion for this, just to like judge my shuffling technique. But I am just, okay, we're just gonna mash these in here. If I draw shipyard, I'm done. We're ending this video here. All right, boom, shuffled. Desecrated Temple. Gain 3 monument resources. All right. 1, 2, 3. We're on Minoan tile. We're neutral with them. We're not denounced with anybody, so it doesn't matter. The next pile starts with, gain a Titan. I don't think that's going to end up mattering. But why not? Oh, we do have, I might have said this before, but I did pause this recording a couple times. We did craft a Maze Runner Titan here. So we have our lovely Maze Runner. When I fought I fought Labby for twice since the Pursuer battle. I got a core each time, and we used one of those cores to craft the, let me add a Titan here real quick. Oh no, we did already. We used one of those cores to craft a Maze Runner, and then we still have one extra core now. So we also, did I say that I lost an Earthshaker already? I lost an Earthshaker Titan. We had to use one of the Hecaton cores to craft a new one, but we still have a couple left over, so we're okay. I had done some trading for some calcified knuckle bones. Let's finish doing this first, and then I'll explain some of the stuff that I'm debating about doing in the crafting step. Gain 1 Titan, we did that. Chosen Argonaut gains 1 Rage. I think the only 2 people that I'm really debating about giving this to are Olympia and the Orphan, because they are both they're the Argonauts who I really want still piloting the tanks, because Olympia has the familiar curse Nemos, which allows her to turn the primordial in your direction. That's pretty good for a tank, as well as like the extra movement. I'm gonna miss on Oleander having that, which Nemos was it that allowed us to stand up. Having that as just a Nemos ability is so great for a tank, but being able to unexhaust a card with a Night to Remember is also a great ability for a tank, because you can use it to get your shield back, get a reflex back. You know what? Let's just screw analysis paralysis. I'm terrible with that. We're gonna just give it to the Orphan. Oh wait, was I think I was at 0, and I think I accidentally almost put it to 1. We should be at like nothing on our Triskelion because we just had a battle. So we're gonna give it to the Orphan. We're gonna give her 1 Rage. She's new, so she can get angry. The rest of the Argonauts have all had their chance to be angry, so it's her turn. It's only fair. Okay, let's go back to this view. Next up, we have Minoan Fleet, who we are neutral with. Each Argonaut gains a danger. Darn. Everybody gets a danger. That's wild that is like the neutral response. It's not just like chosen Argonaut gets a danger. It's each, like, that's 4 danger. That's a lot. That comes out. And then 5 monument resources. Oh, but we get a progress token. What can we put that progress token towards? Nothing. That's okay. We did a lot. We did a lot this cycle. All right, so now exploration phase is done. We don't have to worry about that adversary symbol because we don't have an adversary. At least in this cycle, we don't. For the remainder of it. Exploration phase done, nothing for the expedition phase, and now we have the advancement phase. I know one thing that I want to do is the negotiation ability, because we are on a city space, because Knossos is a city. We want to do the ability where we can spend an Argo Fate and like 4 mortal resources to gain. Just double check. Structural, no, where is negotiation? Lose 4 mortal resources, yeah. Oh, gee, I wonder what resource we're gonna lose here. To gain a diplomacy with the Minoans, and we have the technology that says that our first Argo Fate that we spend on a negotiation ability can basically be nullified, so we can essentially just do this for the 4 resources. Diplomacy. So at least this way, like if we have an opportunity to get 1 more diplomacy with the Minoans, maybe we can do it and get them to friendly. Like I'd really like to be positive with all the factions. I kind of want to go back to my old playthrough and see where I left each faction with and see if I did a better job of it this time, because I think this is pretty good. This is a pretty good spread. But the other thing that I am kind of debating about now, and I prepared for this on the last city because I still wasn't sure at that point, was do I want to craft a replacement weapon for the maze rake? Because the last combat technology we took, let me get our booster seat up here, shift it over that way. The last combat technology I took, let's see, is that legible. Let's maybe, what if we turn these lights down? Boom, dark, now light. Yeah, it looks pretty good. We could craft the Hecatome. I'm going to show the Pillar Mace, but like honestly, I do not like this weapon. Actually, let's just talk about the Pillar Mace first, because then I'm going to take it off the screen. I don't like the Pillar Mace because yes, you can get to 4 red dice, and yes, it has break, but to get a full hit on this, like getting diversion for a full hit is nice, but getting a full hit on this is tough. It's a 2-handed weapon. It's not cumbersome, so that's cool, but like, I don't know, 4 attack dice plus 0, you get 4 reds max. To me, it's just like there's significantly better options. Like you look at the Hecatome, like the Pillar Mace, I look at that and I'm just gonna assume I don't think I'm gonna get a full hit unless I'm willing to spend a lot of fate. And even then, it's still kind of unlikely. Like I don't think I'm gonna get a full hit. But the Hecatome, on the other hand, plus 3 and 3, like it has 1 less red die, sure, but it still has break. Then it also has carving, but more specifically, it also has deadly. That's awesome. And it's 1-handed versus a 2-handed. Pillar Mace to me, it just does not stand a chance compared to other weapons that you have at this point. But the Rebound Hammer and the Hecatome are both awesome weapons. Any weapon with deadly is just great for being able to try to get crits and cores. I switched to using the Jawbone Axe for one of the Labby fights just to try to make sure I got an extra core. I could have crafted the Hecatome. I probably should have just crafted. No, I couldn't have crafted the Hecatome at that point. So yeah, I'm debating like the Pyrrhus Clipios, definitely not replacing that. Let's just go between these. Pyrrhus Clipios is amazing. I don't think you can really make it out from that view, but most people, you're not going to have the Pyrrhus Clipios at this point in cycle 1. This is like maybe a mid-cycle 2 thing. Pyrrhus Clipios is just awesome. And I'm not replacing that. That stays as a weapon, and that it's going to stay with us in cycle 2 as well. Mazimer, boom. It's just awesome all around. Plus 2 to hit, 2 black dice, a red die. Just fantastic. I am keeping this for a fight with Temenos for sure. Neither the Hecatome nor the Rebound Hammer beats this. Then I'm just going to cut over to our 4th slot here with the Orphan, who has Theseus's Razor. Again, plus 3 to hit, 4 red dice. So her, yeah, it's just awesome weapon. We don't have the best token output with our weapons, but the Titans that we have can output a good amount of tokens if we get them to like Rage 2. But the Maze Rake is the one that kind of falls behind a little bit. So that's what I'm looking at replacing, but I just don't think I want to replace it. I mean, having at least plus 2, well, not necessarily at least plus 2 because the Pyrrhus Clipios only has plus 1, but like with the Pyrrhus Clipios, the first wound is going to be kind of hard. But if you get Dread at the start of the, like you can basically easily bring that to a plus 4 precision after the first wound. So if you consider that after the first wound, if you took Dread, like assuming you get wound early, then everybody has at least 2 inherent plus 2 precision on their weapon. Like that does a lot. And Maze Rake may not be that powerful, but also having reach against Temenos is great. So I don't know. Like I think the Rebound Hammer and the Hecatome, like I look at as I might prefer them just a bit over the Maze Rake in a vacuum, but when I consider the other weapons that I have, I don't really think I need to. I think I'd rather keep the Maze Rake because it also has the ability to attack through labyrinth tiles, which can be super helpful. So anyway, I had made sure in a previous city, I made sure that I traded for some resources so that I could craft either the hecatome or the rebound hammer if I wanted to. Because also, even though the rebound hammer has cumbersome, it would matter less for our orphan Argonaut because she has the Nemos that allows her to unexhaust a gear card, so she can use that for her cumbersome weapon. I have one of the other things that I crafted after beating the Pursuer was the Hermes Cape, which has the +1 evasion. It has +1 movement, which is great. Like, Hermes Cape is a great armor. However, I'm probably going to stick with the armors that I have right now on the Titans. Maybe I might switch them up a little bit. But I'll say this, like, the armor, having armor dice is good. It's like a sustainable thing for fighting primordials within the cycle, or at least early on they are. As you get to harder and harder primordials, like if you are doing Menestus Theater, armor dice are probably not going to cut it. Within a cycle, it's harder to do an evasion build. Like, we could do an evasion build with the Hermes Cape on Maze Runner. Like, Maze Runner could go sit in some labyrinth tile, and let's say she already drew a major trauma that she survived previously, so she can use her like both aspects of her maze awareness trait, where she gets +1 evasion from being on a terrain tile. She gets +1 evasion from that temporary evasion token. She could have this +1 from Hermes Cape. She could be at +3 evasion, and then he throws something like the Temenos Scale Shield on her, along with maybe like the Vulture Mask or something, which I don't really know why I'm using this Vulture Mask down here at this point. I just kind of keep forgetting it's down there. But you give her a bunch of evasion, a bunch of free attack rerolls, and yeah, you could build an evasion build tank, but it's, at this point in cycle 1, it's hard to do that. And having 3 or 4 armor dice is pretty good. I would say it's a little bit more consistent than an evasion tank. But I don't know. It's been a little while since I've done stuff at this point in the cycle. I think the last time I did Menestus Theater was a year ago. Yeah, I think I was doing some theater last, like in January 2025, maybe. Anyway, just sound like somebody who's in a retirement home. Just, let me tell you about the good old days. The good old days of Menestus Theater. Okay, let's go back to normal lighting and let's get into something actually interesting, shall we? I think so. Boom, off, and then on. We now move from the advancement step to the story step. And because we are on the Knossos map tile during the story step, we will see paragraph 0104, which is a point of no return. The Argo cuts through the night waves as the sun is yet to rise on the hunched silhouette of Knossos, the horned city, now transformed beyond belief. The few city lights that pierce the darkness reveal a labyrinthized shoreline of angular, symmetrical constructs. The labyrinth is already here, one of you muses. As expected, says the old priest, ever by your side with a soft smile. You, on the other hand, are not. There were countless times when you could have walked away. Sensible reasons, too. No one would blame you. Bah! Many would welcome it. Yet you persisted. He looks out at the shore. And your persistence, your willingness to help those in need, has awakened something in the people of Crete, something that they have nearly forgotten. Hope. Look, to the city. He points to a few redoubts of light. It's not over yet. Gain a Sisyphus tier. Okay, we have a lot of Sisyphus tiers. I kind of want to do, I want to find something fun and creative to do with Sisyphus tiers. Okay, anyway. Prepare the launch, commands one of you. Bring the Argo in. Armed with Ariadne's anchor, you just need to lure the Temenos out and kill it. Simple enough, yet there is no sign of the monstrous creature, this living heart of the labyrinth, even when the Argo drops anchor a stone's throw away from the Knossos' port. Previously, your appearance alone would goad it into battle. Now, it's nowhere to be seen. Your scouts, sent ahead of the Argo, come back with troubling news. The dynasty's rule has crumbled. The primordials have overrun the Horned Guard. In their absence, the Hornsworn are making their bid for power, or at least vengeance. There are regular battles waged in and around Knossos, and the rebels have cut off the palace. It's just a matter of time before the line of Minos is extinguished. And even if they could somehow withstand the fury of the Hornsworn, it won't do them much good. The Labyrinthians have converged on the city, demanding Phaedra release their prophet. So it is true. The Punished was taken prisoner by the Minoan dynasty and is held at the court of Minos' daughter. If anyone knows how to call the Temenos, it will be him. We have some instruction that says, if the Minoan guide is with you, see 0105, then continue. 0105 says, "My home!" Akakalis grieves. "All is lost!" "Nothing's lost as long as you have hope," volunteers one of you. "Your sister is in thrall with the Punished. If we can convince her, I know how she thinks. She would sooner kill him than surrender her only triumph." Akakalis seems somehow smaller. "She must be so desperate by now." "So what should we do?" "Appease her, and I'll do what I can. She never listened to me, though I doubt she will start now." Make an Akakalis tally mark, return to 104. I have not been tracking my Akakalis tally marks since for a while now. I don't know. I'm probably at least at like 14 or something like that. I'm gonna put it at 14 because I think I've at least, just in case, I think we already read the important stuff for Akakalis, but anyway. Okay. Your goal seems clear. You enter the city, a challenging task, for now each street and alley twists and turns in unexpected ways, bending to the truth of the labyrinth. Buildings lean over the road more and more, and you fear they will collapse at any moment. Further up, the giant frameworks of the maze upheave the once striking towers of Knossos, bury the abandoned temples of the Olympians, and effortlessly crush the statues of the Minotaur, once expected to outlast the people of Crete. Everywhere you look, you see chaos. People fleeing into the hills like there was no tomorrow. For the Minoans, that may very well be true. Others huddling in the ruins of once great buildings, hoping in vain that all will pass on its own. You meet squads of Horned Guard trying to keep the peace and evacuate the survivors, and others abandoning their posts and running for their lives with no regard for the people they swore to protect. You pass Hornsworn dissidents reclaiming a sense of nobility by helping the wounded and staving off the maze, as well as groups taking the opportunity to loot and pillage a helpless, defenseless city. You encounter the Labyrinthians, those still clinging to their humanity and a sense of belonging, and those taking joy in senseless destruction, as if this is everything they hoped for. The world, it seems, is more ambiguous than the people of Crete thought, or wanted, or feared, or wished. The gate to the palace of the Minoan dynasty has been broken down, and there is no one to guard the post. You follow the meandering hallways, now crisscrossed by giant maze fragments pining for the sky. You pass by a number of heartbreaking scenes, people dead or dying in the rubble, others trying to save them or mourning their loss. You help where you can, but you push forward and upward. Closer to the throne room, you see signs of struggle. A few dead Horned Guard soldiers and dozens of Labyrinthians in tattered robes, armed with nothing more than gardening tools and bare hands. They wanted to liberate their prophet so badly, yet they failed so close to the finish line. You cross a maze outcrop that has cut the building in half and notice a skirmish in the courtyard. Horned Guard are losing ground to the Hornsworn. Finally come for what they perceive they deserve. We'll choose a party leader and then see paragraph 106. I need some water. So, in deciding who the party leader is, let's see. Telebachus is, I'm trying to think of like who is an original Argonaut. I think Anacreon might be the only one. Is Olympia one of the originals? Ooh, I don't remember. Let's see. We had okay, before Olympia we had Raz. This is why I like color coding and putting the numbers in here. Also crazy that Telebachus is the third person to inherit that top left slot. But so the only original Argonaut that we have who has been here for the entirety of Cycle 1 is Anacreon. So we're going to keep him as the party leader there. Give him the honor. You arrive at the Minoan throne room. The doors must have collapsed during the mazequake, for they lie in pieces on the marble floor. You step over the rubble and notice a squad of veteran guards, the most staunch defenders of the dynasty. Princess Phaedra is there as well, standing on the balcony overlooking the city, like on that fateful day you agreed to help her look for her father. How long has it been? Another figure draws your attention. A man, on his knees, tatters of cloak and skin fluttering in the sea breeze. He's chained, leashed, and gagged. You are immediately reminded of your meeting with Minos on the Sepulchre Acropolis. The Fates are having a day. Argonauts, she says with a hint of anger. The Labyrinth broke through. Knossos is sinking. Old foes and new take this opportunity to air their grievances. Do you come to seal the end of the Minoan dynasty? The Horned Guard close ranks around their leader and draw their swords. Suddenly, Princess Phaedra looks so small and vulnerable. You begin to understand. Her whole world is crumbling. She's a cornered animal with nothing to lose. There's still time to save your people, Princess, says the party leader cautiously. We need that man to do that. Anacreon points to the punished. The princess looks at you with piercing eyes. Is there time now? And why should I listen to your counsel now? I entrusted the fate of this island to you in this very room, did I not? I tasked you with finding my father. You failed. Your father chose his fate, and so did he. As she says it, she puts a sword to the punished's throat. We have a few options here. I'm going to grab some water really quickly because I just ran out and my voice is very hoarse right now, so be right back. So we have a number of options here, but they are gated by if we have achieved certain things. So option 1 is only available to us if we finished Uneasy Rests Ahead. Let's see if we finished that hub because I can't remember. We did not. So option 1 is not available to us. Option 2, if I4 is marked. I4 is marked, and it's marked because we gained Akakalis' trust. Okay, so this seems like it could be a good one. Option 2 is listen to the counsel of Akakalis. That would also give us Minoan's diplomacy +1. So maybe we sway towards that way. Option 3 does not look like there is a gate. There is too much at stake here. You possibly have only one shot at saving the island. You have no idea what will happen if the punished dies. You need to draw the Temenos' attention, but you doubt this is the way to do it. Funny that you would defend the man, but here you are. You stopped Phaedra before she kills the punished by any means necessary. So option 3, I feel like we've built up enough of a relationship between like us and Akakalis that I don't want to jump to any means necessary. I feel like we have better options than that, so I'm not inclined for that option. Option 4. The truth of the Labyrinth has torn this island apart. You know where Phaedra's anger is coming from, and you sympathize. You would not have killed the man, but then again, you will not kill anyone to save him either. You let Phaedra kill the punished. That would also give Minoan's diplomacy +1. The next option is only available if B5 is marked, which it's not. And option 6 is only available if the Minoan guide is with us. It says, will Phaedra listen to her sister? It's a gamble. So, I'm not inclined to go for option 3, the any means necessary to stop her. I'm not inclined to let her kill the punished, because we also know that's Theseus, and I don't think we just want to be like, yeah, just go ahead and kill him, it's fine. Option 1 is not available to us. Option 5 is not available to us. So that kind of leaves us down to options 2 and 6. And 2 seems just like the better version of 6 because not only is Akakalis with us, like we have gained Akakalis' trust. This is from gaining at least 10 marks with her. So let's go with option 2, and that's going to give us Minoan's diplomacy +1. So we're going to trust Akakalis to give some counsel here. That is paragraph 0111. Phaedra, please listen to the Argonauts, says Akakalis, stepping forward. I have traveled the island with them and grown to know and respect them. They have our best interests at heart. They may not have found Minos, but what would that old man do? He brought all this upon us. He corrupted us. Remember who we were, Phaedra, before all this? They, she points to you, represent what we've lost. What do you know of loss? Hisses Phaedra spitefully. You may have loved him, she adds, and you are left to wonder who this he was. But you were barely a child then, and I have shared his bed. We had a future, and then that Minoan whore ruined everything. So, says Akakalis as if she suddenly realizes something, you want the dynasty to fall. You always wanted it to... No. All we did, it was just you lashing out. Punishing everyone for the transgressions of Theseus? How could I have been so blind? Akakalis moves her attention to the punished, now listening intently. And this is our latest victim?
Another hapless soul crushed under our boot. Hasn't he been punished enough? Haven't we all? Phaedra takes a step back. No, no, she mutters in a trembling voice. You feel pity for this creature? For this Labyrinthian? We are the true Labyrinthians, sister. We got lost so long ago, but I never realized the depths of your despair. Tears run down Akakalis' cheeks. It doesn't have to be that way anymore. She extends her hand. Phaedra looks at her, dumbfounded. The blade slips from her limp hand. You pity me? She blurts out. You? Long before any of this, there was a simple girl who loved a boy. Everything would have been different if he loved her back. And even if Crete survives the day, that girl will still be left with nothing. She slumps into the ground, wailing. Akakalis kneels beside her sister and hugs her. After what feels like an eternity, she says to the Horn Guard, Please, take care of my sister. After a moment of confusion, they nod and help Phaedra get up. Let no harm come to her, she adds. There is a regal aura to her now, something you haven't really noticed during your voyages together. Send a messenger to the Hornsworn. Tell them I want to discuss terms of peace, and that the city will soon turn into a Titan battlefield. Before she leaves to command the garrison, she turns to you. Argonauts, the punished is yours. Save my island. I believe in you. Every Argonaut gains 1 rage, and then we mark G3. Then we see 1118. Let's go in and let's mark G3. Where are we at? Alphabet, G3. So what are we writing here? Akakalis stopped Phaedra from killing Theseus. And then every Argonaut gains 1 rage. That is fantastic. I love that. 1. You go to 2. You go to 1. Okay. Then we proceed to 118. You look at the kneeling man, the self-proclaimed punished, would-be prophet of the Labyrinth, although he would surely protest that. He doesn't meet your gaze, electing to look over the balcony to the city in chaos below. He has tears in his eyes, though you know not what he mourns. His tattered cloak, grayish, unkempt beard, and strands of peeled skin fluttered gently in the wind. We need to talk, says the party leader as he approaches the Labyrinthian. It's almost finished now, he muses, still fixated on the dark horizon. My punishment and theirs. The truth becomes apparent. And you had to come all this way to proclaim it? To hand yourself to the dynasty? It seems to me you were seeking death, not truth. I am, he agrees solemnly. But it has denied me. My fellow Labyrinthians can gain release by a simple act of will, while I remain to walk the earth. My punishment has been more severe. Then we have some instruction. If M2 is marked, every Argonaut gains 1 despair token. Ooh, not marked. If I3 is marked, every Argonaut gains 1 rage. I3, yes. What is I3 marked from? We challenge the punished, saying that life and struggle are not meaningless. Ooh, nice. So that came in handy for us.
Everybody starting with at least 2 rage. Unreal. That's amazing. Okay. Now we have a choice. We have 3 options here. Option 1 is only available if we finish the Dreams Laid Bare hub, which we did, correct? Yes. That option is to appease the punished by recalling his past deeds. Option 2, you might try to force him, but you figure punishment is what he expects. It may be prudent to try a different approach. How did Miltiades talk to Xenodice? If nothing matters, then what is helping us going to change? You try to convince the punished to help you. Miltiades was the leader of the Simici on the Marathonian, in case anybody forget, because I kept forgetting what his name was. So now we all know. And then there's option 3. The punished has been playing the long game, slipping through his enemy's fingers by sheer virtue of his helplessness and martyrdom. Every second you waste is a life extinguished. You need to act now. You force the punished to summon the Temenos by any means necessary. Well, I don't think I want to do that. I think let's go to the option that we have earned. Appease the punished by recalling his past deeds. Because remember from the Dreams Laid Bare hub, we basically learned all about Theseus. Like the punished is Theseus. Theseus was originally from Athens, came over, blah, blah, blah. All right, so let's move on and go to that paragraph. It's going to give us Labyrinthians Diplomacy +1. Boom. Then we're going to see 121. You often say nothing matters, yet I find you care for many a thing, maybe too much, says the party leader calmly. We know of your plight, Theseus. We know of your loss. Nothing we say or do will bring Ariadne back or undo what has happened. Theseus finally looks at you, tears in his eyes. But you were once a hero to this island and its people, the party leader continues. Many still live with your name on their lips. Many, like the princesses of Crete, live in your shadow. Others, like Pirithous the Hand, try to carry your light. We need you to be that hero again. Conflicting emotions pass over his labyrinthized face. I am nothing. I have nothing. I failed everyone, and I deserve this. I deserve to be punished. Now we have more instruction. 4 options we can choose from. Option 1 is only available if we finish the Tears of a Minotaur hub. Let's see if we did that. We did. You know you forgive him. Option 2 is you know not of his crimes, yet what you know deep inside is that all who strive to be better deserve a second chance. This man has carried his guilt for many years. He has been punished enough. You forgive him. Option 3. Maybe Theseus is too far gone. Or maybe he's not. What matters is he willing to help? You try to convince the punished to help you. Option 4. The time for forgiveness and reconciliation is long past. Theseus or not, all those labyrinthian deaths are on him. The island needs a fresh start. You force the punished to summon the Temenos by any means necessary. All these options are just like, well, you know, if you really want to force him to get the Temenos out here, like, we're going to give you the out to do that. It's like, I think some of this is similar to what I did in the first playthrough. This probably is what I did, but it's hard to force myself to deviate from this path. So I'm just going to keep going down the path that we earned, I'll say. So we're going to choose option 1. If you finish the Tears of a Minotaur hub, forgive him. That gives us Labyrinthian's Diplomacy +1, but I think we're maxed out on them now. We are. 124. We know about Ariadne, says the party leader sorrowfully. Minos and the gods did it to her, not you. Theseus starts to tremble. I killed her. No. She sacrificed herself for you. Because she loved you. Because she believed in you. And you survived. There was nothing wrong with that. As to what happened later, we forgive you. Theseus looks at you, wide-eyed, tears rolling down his cheeks. He draws his arms close to his chest to stop his body from shaking. I do not deserve this. We forgive you. Now you need to forgive yourself. Ariadne would have wanted that. As he looks to you, the shadow of a timid smile crossing his lips, you catch a glimpse of the man who once was and who may still be. A man of purpose. A distant roar sounds. The unmistakable, haunting, almost melodic rumble of the Temenos. But this time it is different. This time the song of despair falls flat, almost a whimper. It seems the crack through which the monster slipped into our world was not Ariadne, but Theseus all along. Instruction. Mark H3. You have defeated the Temenos without drawing a sword. You may go straight to the victory aftermath of the There Is No Maze battle on page 116. Of course, this being a game about battles, you can still fight the final battle just to test your mettle. So, through our story choices, we defeated Temenos. We're still going to do the battle, and I'm still going to do it in this video. I'm going to stop the recording off to edit these videos together, which I hate doing, but I'll do it for you. I just need to get better at it anyway. But yeah, so I'd have to go back to the Tears of a Minotaur hub finale, because I guess we did get confirmation there that Theseus did indeed kill Ariadne, which I guess I kind of forgot about because I have a terrible memory. But yeah, so while we thought that Ariadne was the one, like something about Ariadne, her grief, her death, something about that we believed to have drawn Temenos through this crack in this ethereal wall or whatever, was not actually true. And that was information that was given to Daedalus, who then passed it along to King Minos. And so now the question is, like, well, did Daedalus mislead intentionally? Was he giving the information? Like, Daedalus is a smart person. We're going to see Daedalus come up. I think he comes up again maybe in cycle 2, maybe in cycle 3. We'll see. But, like, Daedalus is not a dummy. So, did he get this wrong? Did he do something intentionally there? Like, purposefully mislead? And if he did, why would he have done that? Or maybe he just made a mistake. But we're basically finding that it was really the grief of Theseus that caused, or how I'm interpreting this is that it was the grief of Theseus that caused Temenos to appear. Like, this incredible amount of, I guess, both grief and self-doubt and hopelessness that he couldn't save his love as what caused this crack that allowed this being to come through into into Crete and don the labyrinth, essentially, like take over the labyrinth and start to infect other people. And by giving Theseus hope, we were able to stop Temenos. So I guess giving him hope sealed that crack. So now it makes, like, we thought that there was something about something special about Ariadne before, and I could kind of believe that because it was like, oh, well, you know, Minos was punished directly by Poseidon, and maybe he somehow passed along his curse to Ariadne. Well, we know that he somehow passed along part of his curse, at least via, like, her becoming the Minotaur. But now the question is, like, how is Theseus special? Like, how was it that his grief was so strong that it could cause this crack, this rift in this barrier between worlds, or between locations, at least between dimensions? I don't know. How does that work? But yeah, so I'm at least going to stop the video for from my end tonight. You will just cut forward to like 10 seconds from now when the camera angle looks slightly different, maybe the lighting's slightly different. But we will go through the battle just for the sake of going through the battle, because I mean, we just gained 2 rage for everybody. That's awesome. We're going to go through this. You've only seen 1 battle so far with Temenos. I think these end of cycle battles are just awesome. They're so thematic. They try to tie in the story together too. Like, I'm excited to do this. I'm excited that we were able to like get to this this conclusion, because it's like you really you do learn a lot by going through some of these adventure hubs. And some of the last few adventure hubs, I think, are generally pretty important throughout every cycle. So I'll probably be focusing on those again as this comes up in future cycles. But anyway, we'll stop there, and then we'll go into a battle the next time I pick up this video. All right, I am back, and we are just about to get into our Temenos fight here. I have the whole setup done. We just need to determine the primordial facing, as we usually do for how I normally prep before our battles here. Before we do that, though, I did want to basically go back and say that before we came into this day, I did forget to craft some things that I should have crafted. I crafted a rebound hammer that I am not going to use in this fight, but I have reasons for why I wanted to have crafted it. And I forgot that we did not have any more spring harnesses. We had killjoyed our last spring harness in that pursuer fight. So I crafted a couple more of those. This was a planned battle. Like, we knew we were going into it in this day, and like we had the resources to be able to prepare and everything. So I'm okay with going back and kind of retconning that. But do what feels fun for you in the game. And what doesn't make it too easy. Because you don't want a game to be too easy. You want it to be a good challenge. Anything worthwhile talking about here? The loadout is similar to what we used for the Pursuit's End fight. We swapped out our Ulyssia for Maze Runner, and we swapped out Solon for Game Changer. So we are finally doing a fight. This will be my second fight in this playthrough, but the first recorded fight where we are using all Argo-bred Titans. We don't have any Dreamwalker Titans in this. We're using all these cooler, more unique Titans, and we're getting into that part of the game where like choosing Titans is a part of that loadout decision, and I love it. It's just another variable that you think about when you're going to do the setup for these things, and it gives more customizability and flexibility, and they're unique. And you know, you may not always have some available that you want to use. Anyway, it just, that adds a new dimension to the game, and it's actually like one of my favorite parts of the game is like the different Titans that you can use throughout the campaign. So the more we unlock, the happier I get, the better, the more happy emerging boat you're going to get in your videos. Let's see. Any other loadout things we want to call out? I gave the spring harnesses to Maze Runner and Logic Breaker just to make sure that every Titan had an ability to stand up, because we no longer have our Nemos from Oleander that allowed him to stand up. I think that's in our Nemos vault. We didn't retire that one, so maybe at some point we'll get that one back. And I swapped out the Force Kratos Reaction Argo ability for Teleresuscitation. I mean, we have so much reflex and so much ability to stand up. It's probably overkill. It's probably better spent on other things, but we're starting off with so much rage in this battle that I'd rather just have the extra Teleresuscitation, because Temenos does do a lot of knockdown, especially like knockdown in zone around him for BP responses. So I'd rather just have the flexibility to have that. But yeah, with that, I think we're ready to get into the battle. So the There Is No Maze battle is different than the normal battle setup, like the actual layout. This is our normal battle setup, and then there's a separate setup for There Is No Maze. I'm pretty sure the actual setup that we have right now is completely the same as the normal battle, but there's going to be some extra little story beforehand, or some little flavor text introduction going into this battle, as well as we'll get some extra setup instructions based off of hubs that we completed. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. The Temenos emerges from the ruins of Knossos' Acropolis, its deafening roar resounding through the streets, its gargantuan maw glowing with a sickly reddish violet. With each step it takes, the ground shakes. Are you imagining things? Or is it even larger than before? You quickly evacuate the palace and meet up with the Argo, now practically aground in the port. Alcibiades has brought it as close as possible. The Temenos, its silhouette an ominous portent on the city skyline, is right behind you. The old priest welcomes you aboard. So far so good, eh? He says with a chuckle, looking to the enormous primordial. His hopeful demeanor puts you at ease a bit. You've trained for this. Oh, sorry, messed that up. You've trained for this. The anchor has been dropped. Now finish it. As you slowly submerge yourself in the waters of the Aeon, you look to each other. We sailed to this island unsure of our place in this world, says one of you. And here, confronted with a cult of nothingness, you found purpose. You had the power to help people, to make a change, and along your journey, you did. Now we know who we are. We are the Argonauts. We carry the burdens no other is willing to bear, and we triumph. Onward, Argonauts! This is it. You've lured the Temenos out. Now you need to put it down for good. No escapes, no resurrections. If you lose this battle, you lose the campaign. If you win, well, you save Crete. Right, well, hopefully we don't lose this fight, because if we lose the campaign, I'd just stop the videos there. I don't think I'm redoing Cycle 1 again, at least this soon. I guess I don't see anything that says you can't actually use a what's it called, a Sisyphus tier, so I guess you could use one, but that would be lame to do. I don't know, you don't want to have to use a Sisyphus tier in the last fight. You want to win it on the first try because it's epic, like yeah. All right, I'm excited. Battle setup, standard preparations done. Primordial positioning, let's do that. Draw our minor trauma here. And, well, there goes our bonus attack for a minor trauma, but he's going to be facing west. Okay. And a little bit about the positioning that I did here. What I'm hoping is that I would like Logic Breaker to be the primary target of the first AI, and then I would like Temenos to end the first first primordial round there, because I think that'll put him in a good position for for everybody. But mainly I want Earthshaker Titan to be able to get behind him and be able to get rid of Dread as quickly as possible. So facing west is good for us. Let's see. Battle track, do not mark any boxes on the battle track. I did not. Additional setup, follow additional special setup instructions, see below. Special setup. If you have finished the Plight of the People Hub, which let's check and make sure we did. Okay, we did. As your Titan form lumbers toward the primordial, you see the Cretans flooding the streets and the rooftops. What are they thinking? And what are they chanting? And then you hear it. Argonauts! Argonauts! They're cheering you on. Each Titan gains a rage. Oh my goodness. We are going to be starting with 3, 3, 3, and 4 rage. That's awesome. Our Logic Breaker is going to get his power die, his extra power die from his Kratos table on his first attack. That is amazing. Okay. If you have finished the Fated Conundrum Hub, we did. You have wandered a mazed polis long before the Labyrinth got to Kenosis. You got lost, you found your way, and you've saved others. You've got this. When you draw an Obel card for Maze Reconfiguration, add another You Live Obel card for that Obel draw. So that's his ability where if you are on a Labyrinth tile and Temenos does the Labyrinth keyword, then instead of placing another Labyrinth tile, you would instead just draw an Obel. So let me grab, I guess the Obel that we would add would be the Obel that we use for the God forms, but maybe if we draw it in this context, it would, do we have another You Live? I don't see one. Maybe I have one somewhere else. But yeah, okay. If we draw this one, then we just won't lose that one fate, because I don't think we're supposed to. If you have finished the Hidden in Plain Sight Hub, we did not. If you have finished the Man of Purpose Hub, we did. The streets between you and the Temenos suddenly fill with horn-sworn warriors on foot and on horseback. They salute you, then rush toward the inevitable. Their charge buys you precious time. When you place your Titans during the Titan and Argonaut step, each Titan gets a free reposition 2 before the start of battle. I mean, I guess we would use that now, because it's like, technically, we're not supposed to get to this point until, like, far after the Titan and Argonaut setup. Unless I have been doing preparation steps wrong for a long time now. Let me double check this. Yeah, no, Titan and Argonaut setup and all that happened a long time before, so I mean, I guess we can just do reposition now. Let's go through the rest of these and I'll come back to it. I want to think about the positioning. If you have finished the Uneasy Rest Ahead hub, we did not. If you have finished the Tears of a Minotaur hub, we did. Every man, woman, and god has a blind spot. This monster is no different. For the duration of this battle, Temenos' rear spaces are considered blind spots. Ooh. That's okay, that's fine. That's a little bit nicer for Earthshaker. But hey, we'll take it. Let me see if I can give some kind of visual indicator on here. I'll take one of these sticky tabs and put it on the rear part of the base. Blue's probably a good color. Should be able to see it. I just need like some kind of visual to remember that that we have a bonus there. Boom. Can you see that on camera? Yeah, you can see that a little bit. Good enough. More for me than for you. If you have finished the Dreams Laid Bare hub, we did. The port streets suddenly fill with crowds of Labyrinthians. Their chants are filled, for once, with hope in the memory of Theseus and Ariadne's love. The Temenos reels. It fears hope. Gain the Wise Providence boon. Ooh, baby. Well, okay, actually, that could have really messed with my plan for starting because, like, there could be some situations where Earthshaker would not be able to get into a rear space. Okay, so luckily we can still get into a rear space with him. That's good. Okay, now I think we are done with the setup there. We still have to reposition. I think maybe what we can do is maybe let's reposition with some of the ones who could get into. So I think we at least want to reposition with Maze Runner because she has reach on her weapon, so she could put herself into a position where she can attack and then move. So either here or here is where we want to go because being in this zone 1 around Temenos is not going to be good for some of the wound effects. I don't think this matters too much. Yeah, let's just stick her there. But reposition 2, nobody else is really going to benefit from that as much, I don't think. Well, Maze Runner does have Motivate 1 in her Kratos table, so who would we want? What's the order that we want to go in here? Earthshaker is going to go first, I think, just because he has Cold Open, and we want to try to get rid of that Dread early if we can. So yes, he will go first. Then maybe we want to save Solon for last, because other than Earthshaker, or not Solon, I'm used to him being in that spot. Maybe we want to save Game Changer for last because he's used to, or he's got the next best weapon. I think maybe we'll want to use that Motivate from, excuse me, Maze Runner on Logic Breaker because Logic Breaker does not have reach and cannot avoid wound responses. So if we, like, between the reposition and that Motivate 1, we could put Logic Breaker in a position where he can attack and then move afterwards. So go either here or here. He's one of our tanks, so let's put him in front. Why not? So we will stick him there. And then I don't think we're going to use that reposition at all on Earthshaker. It's really not going to matter because I'm going to want to get into that rear space on Temenos with Earthshaker. And then for Game Changer, I don't think it's going to matter either. I think I'd rather just let him keep his distance for now. All right, so I think with that, let's start the battle. I'm gonna get my own music going here. There we go. Hopefully that's not too loud. I feel like it's in a quiet part of the music, so hopefully it doesn't pick up too much, but let's start. Okay, we are going to start with Earthshaker. Woo! Boom. All right, we will go 1, 2, 3. We're going to move into that rear space, which is a blind spot now. So our Dread gets reduced from a -4 precision to a -2. We're about to do our attack. Let me do this. So that'll trigger Cold Open. So we get 1 opening, 1 break. So now the Pierce Clipios bonus and the opening token bonus cancel out that -2 from the Dread, but then we also have +1 precision from a Broken Promise and +1 from being in a blind spot, so we're at +2 total. So we're going to get 2 dice. We need 6 or higher to hit. That's 2 6s. Cool. Go ahead and put that there. That's going to give us 2 black, 2 red. Yeah, 2 red, and then we have a bonus power as well. We have the Sensory Pyramid, AT value of 5. If we wound, we get knockback 7, and we gain a danger. There's no There's no window here to reduce that knockback or to reflex. And we have no knockback reduction on Earthshaker, so okay, not the best wound response, but let's see if we can actually wound first. Boom, one at a time here. All right, that's essentially going to be 2. That is 3 total, actually 4 total because we have that bonus power from Pyrisclipios. Boom, boom. Okay, wow, that's amazing. Hopefully this is a good omen. That's 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total. We only needed 5, so we wound. We're going to get knockback 7 and take 1 danger. Yep, so just double checking, no knockback reduction rate. So 1, actually, yeah, we will do the Dread first. I really want to double check on that. Yeah, for dealing a wound, the only thing that makes sense to me for the timing of like quote unquote dealing the wound is like when the power roll is basically tallied. Because otherwise, if a primordial had gained a fear card or gained the fear condition as like a wound response, you would, if you didn't actually quote unquote deal the wound until step 8 of the attacks, then you would basically just resolve the face your fear effect immediately as soon as, like, right after you got that wound or that condition. So that doesn't make sense to me. All right, so this is correct. So we are going to gain our 3 position tokens there. Boom, boom. 3. Because we get 2 normally, and then Pyrisclipios gives us a bonus 1. And then we will do knockback 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll gain a danger. All right. Then that comes out. This view, have our first wound. Get a BP, oh geez, BP2 in our deck here. Stop shuffling in 3, 2, 1. BP2 on top. Not sure how to feel about that. Replace an AI1 with an AI2. Stop shuffling in 3, 2, 1. AI1. All right. That's that. Boom, boom. Let's see, we get opening 2. That comes out. Opening 2 from Pyrisclipios, and then we will get break and opening from Earthshaker, and then another break and opening. So we have 4 openings and 2 breaks. It's a lot of precision. We could also use Provoke with Earthshaker, but we are not using him in a tanky role right now, so we are not going to do that. And with that, his turn ends. Yeah, there's nothing else we want to do in the second ability window there. Oh, I forgot. You may change wound effect of Pyrisclipios. You may change 1 negative precision token, blah, 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 or lose danger equal to the wounded BP's level. Interesting. So I guess, would this also be in the same, like, yeah, when is the timing of dealing a wound? Yeah, I would say that technically happens before the wound response, because the power roll is the result of dealing the wound. It's same with the face or fear effect. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter in this case, but if we had, say, wounded a BP2, I would argue that we would still be at 1 danger from the wound response. As long as I play that consistently, then I think it's fine. Okay. So who do we want to go with next here? Originally I said I wanted to go with Game Changer last, but maybe I'm going to change my mind on that a little bit, because maybe we want him to go now so he has a better chance of wounding that BP2, and then there's, if we assume we wound that, then there's still going to be a 5 out of 6 chance that BP1 will come up on top next for Maze Runner, and Maze Runner still has the weakest weapon. So let's do that. Let's increase our chances of getting this wound. Oh, oops, I should have gone back to this view. Now we're going to go to Game Changer. So we will. Do I really have a strong preference for where I go here? What I'm a little bit nervous with him is that I can move up to be adjacent to Temenos, but then I can't really get. Oh wait, do I have reposition? No. You know what? Actually, I'm going to stick to what I originally wanted to do. We're not going to go yet with him. We are going to go next with Maze Runner, and I'm just going to have faith that she can wound. I believe in you, Maze Runner. So she can attack without moving right now, so she's going to go up to 4 rage. Is not enough to switch the priority token to her. And let's see, during her attack, she's going to get 2 dice. She has +6 to hit, so she only needs a 2 or higher. Is there anything else? There's nothing in the first ability window that we can do. There's no way we can get extra break tokens unless we used Arrow Barrage. Oh, I could use Arrow Barrage, but maybe I'll save that for like after Game Changer goes or something. I'm not sure. Boom. That is a 7 and a 4. Both of those will hit. I will not try to crit here. I'm trying to think if there's anything that we'll be able to do. Like, what are the cool things that we could craft for the Temenos core? I forget. Like, do we want to try to crit chase on Temenos cores? How many do I have? I think I have 1. Find scribe on my screen. Cargo. Resources. We do have a Temenos core. We'll see how the fight goes, but maybe we want to crit chase. But not here. We don't need to do that here. Instead, we are going to get, what is this? 3 from our Maze Rake, and an extra 1 from our Titan die, and she does not get her extra Kratos red die until Rage 6, so she's got a little ways to go there. Nothing in our first ability window. Well, we can't pull. Also, yeah, I think I mentioned before in a previous video that there was like something in the rulebook that was like, oh, the lumbering trait on a primordial only prevents a Titan from doing like pushback or knockback. Like the primordial cannot suffer pushback or knockback, but the real ruling is that it should stop them from being able to be involuntarily moved. So you cannot use pull on a lumbering primordial, which makes sense to me. It's weird that it would be weird if you could be like, oh, well, I can't push it, but I can pull it. All right, so nothing in our first ability window that we want to use. Ooh, that's kind of a brutal BP2. We'd have to get a pretty dang good roll here. Oh, and perform signature against the attacker. Well, I guess it's kind of good that we didn't waste Game Changer's Mazimer with this, because it's an instinct response and not a wound response. Is there anything we can do to help this? Not really. All right, so let's roll some dice here. We have how many power reroll? Just the 1? Just the 1. All right, we're gonna roll these 1 at a time. Ooh, that will probably be getting re-rolled. We cannot win this at this point, so let's just roll these. Better. I mean, I'm just going to re-roll it just for fun. Okay, so we do not wound this. We get 5. We needed 8, so that fails. That'll put the BP2 in the discard there. It's a rough one. That's a rough BP2 to get off on the start. So we will have to perform signature against the attacker. Let's queue up our signature. Clear the Kratos pool. We will get 2 opening and a break from Kratos table. We will give reposition, or I'm sorry, we will give motivate 1 to logic breaker, which I think then will mean that we want Maze Runner to reposition 1 to be adjacent to Temenos so that what am I trying to say? So that Temenos does not move away from logic breaker. So yeah, let's reposition. How many repositions do we have total? 2, 3. Do I want to reposition 3? Because I could go to that spot in the north of Temenos. No, I don't really think so, because if I turn Temenos to the east, then Logic Breaker gets a +1 from precision from being in a blind spot. Oh, I also didn't think about the blind spot. I was only thinking about the blind spot and how it affects, you get the precision bonus, but it does also impact targeting. So I'm not going to change anything based off that information, but I probably should consider it more. Let's see. I think these are the only tokens that we're going to get in our pool there. Yeah, all right, so let's end the second ability window. I could vault. Do I want to? What's the benefit of doing it? I don't really see much purpose in it, so let's not. All right, let's just move along. We're going to move on to that signature that, and I have to remember that we still have movement with her. So Tentacle Strike. We're going to have Temenos turn to face the Maze Runner. And we'll get 3 dice. What's our fate at? Just 1. Okay. We need 10 or higher to evade. Boom. We got a 10. Okay. No free rerolls. I'm not going to spend fate on that, so we're going to get 2 hits. Oh, actually, and I was supposed to gain a despair token as well before that roll. Get that despair token. Each hit deals 2 danger, so we're at risk of taking 4 danger. Let's reinforce 1 to get a 4th armor die. And whoa, woo, heck yeah. Okay, that is no danger that we're taking. Yeah, screw you, Labyrinth, not Labyrinth. Temenos. There's an os in there. Then after attack, Labyrinth 1. That'll be our first Labyrinth tile, so it's going to be a square. And I mean, I think we're probably going to go like this, right? No, definitely not like that. Definitely not like that. Could go like that. Nope, definitely not. This is the only one that makes sense. Boom. Signature done. And then we have movement. Let me think about this. We'll probably want to move. So Logic Breaker will attack from the blind spot, and then assuming there's not another signature, maybe we have Logic Breaker come over here, or maybe even in front of Temenos. So Temenos should either be facing east or south. So if we move, I think I want Logic Breaker to be the target of the next AI card still, but so I think I want Maze Runner to be in the north. So that could look like, what, she has 6 movement, right? We could get her up to 7 movement. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then maybe if we move Logic Breaker on his turn, he could go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would put Temenos see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3, because I have reflex 3, like the superior reflex with Maze Runner. Okay, so if we end up moving Logic Breaker down here or something, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you go there. Then we can have Temenos facing south. We're not really worried about Temenos going to the east because Earthshaker is out of his range. So we could instead have Maze Runner go like 1, 2, 3, 4. That would put her here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, sure, that's fine. So then she does not need to use Minoan Heritage. So I'm okay with this. Okay. Next up, we will go with, yes, we used her movement, so she's done. Boom. Next up, we will go with Logic Breaker. Oh, there we go. And we're going to start off with an attack, which is going to bring him to 5 rage. Just have the 1. We have +3, +4, +5 to hit, so we need 3 or higher. That's a 2. All right, let's re-roll that. That's a 9. Okay, I will take that. We will get an auto break 1. Boom. Joint Maze Carapace. We need 6 on this. So we are going to get 4 red dice from our weapon, and then 2 more red dice, 1 from Titan Sheet, 1 from Kratos Table. So we're going to have 6 red dice, and we have how many power reroll? 1, 2, 3, and we are looking for getting more power than the AT so we can use Overbreak. Ooh, not off to a good start. Boom. It's pretty good. Boom. Boom. Goes out. Boom. Mediocre. So if we're definitely re-rolling these 2. What are we at right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're technically at 6. Let's do this. Let's re-roll all 3 of these. Re-roll them at the same time. Okay, that's better. So that's going to put us at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We only needed 6, so we exceeded the AT value by 2. Perform signature against the attacker. I wasn't even paying attention to what the wound response would be, but this is fine, I guess. Just going to get a bunch of signatures on us. All right, so we will wound this. It's going to queue up. Let me go to this camera. It's going to queue up our signature. That was a 1, so we'll get a BP2. Stop in 3, 2, 1. Hit BP1. Replace an AI1 with an AI2. Stop in 3, 2, 1. AI2. Okay. Then, let's see, we'll clear the Kratos pool. We'll get 2 break from our overbreak. We will get an opening. And I think that's going to be it. Yeah, that's all the Kratos tokens we're going to get. Nothing else we want to do in the second ability window, correct? All right, so then we will move on to resolving the signature. So Temenos is going to turn back this way. Oh, I think I forgot about the bonus precision from being in the blind spot when attacking there. Oh, so we would not have had to gain that fate for, right? Oh, I kind of forget. Whatever, too late. Tentacle Strike. Let's see if we can avoid this one as well. All right, so we need 10 or higher to evade. We're going to get 2 free rerolls. Boom. No, nothing to avoid there. Oh, and we are, sorry, before I finish doing those rerolls, we would get a despair token, but Logic Breaker can actually try to avoid that using Theseus's Razor. If he gets a 6 or higher, he can lower this gain by 1. Boom. Nope. So he will get a despair token. Okay, these are our rerolls, so we're already dealing with 1 hit. Ooh, and crit miss, or crit evade fail. No effects. So we're about to take 3 hits. There's about to be 6 danger. Do we want to gain a fate to reinforce? Yeah, probably. Let's do it. So 3 armor dice. Let's roll these 3. That will just be reducing it by 1. So it's going to put us at 5 danger, correct? We could have blocked one of those hits. Oh, I forgot about blocking before I did the armor reroll, or the armor roll. And okay, well, let's think about this. If I do decide that I'm going to do the armor or the block, then I probably would not have done the reinforce, and doing the block was probably a good thing because then I can unexhaust it with the Night to Remember, and I would be guaranteeing that I at most take a minor trauma. Okay, so instead of using the fate on the reinforce, I'll use it on block with the Temino Scale Shield. And then I'm gonna re-roll the armor dice, and I'm gonna say that the most I can reduce it by is 1. So if I get two potentials, then I still only reduce it by 1. And I think that kind of makes it a little bit more fair. All right, so we're about to take 4 danger. Let's roll that. Okay, so we're only going to reduce it by 1 because we're kind of retconning something here. So we're taking 3 danger. It's going to put us at 4. Oh, actually, I forgot I was starting with 1 danger, so I did still need to reduce it by 1 more danger. So thank goodness I still rolled at least 1 potential there. But for him, minor trauma, we will get Feign Death. Immediately chain break the primordial attack, gain the knockdown standing up condition card. Okay, this is another one where I feel like I've gotten it in the last few fights. And I shuffled the hell out of these cards, so I don't know what to tell you. So chain break. Well, chain breaking this. Okay, this is a single target attack, so I think I actually do chain break the after attack. Even though Labyrinth itself is not a targeted effect, I think I don't know, I've probably played this differently this entire cycle and playing it the harder way, but I think I was going back on Discord and looking again at chain breaks and all this stuff. And I think because this is an after attack effect, on a single attack, chain break just negates the rest of the attack. I think the only exceptions that there are if it's a zone attack and you might have after attack effects that aren't targeting that specific Titan. I feel like every session I play this game and I get a chain break, I'm like, oh wait, what was the ruling on this again? I've spent so many hours in this game, and so many hours on Kingdoms Forlorn, and I still just get confused. It's pretty bad. And I just double checked the Kingdoms Forlorn rulebook, and that one does say that chain breaks can cancel after attacks if the attack is performed against a single, in that case, knight. And it also says that the mercy rule I always thought that the mercy rule just only stopped negative effects against that Titan, but I think it's similar where it's just like, oh, well, if it's a single target attack and that Titan dies during that attack, then I guess the after attack effects don't happen either. I'm sure I'll have this question again during this playthrough, and I will probably end up deciding something else and then just keep switching back and forth. So, oh well. But in this case, we are going to chain break this, so we don't have to do the Labyrinth 1. Oh, we still need to give our knockdown standing up condition to Logic Breaker. Then we're going to use his spring harness to stand up. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. We don't even need to use that because we're knocked down standing up. So we will just move, I think. Do we want to move? No, actually, maybe we don't want to move, because if we don't move, we can still, assuming, what is it? I guess I will, oh, well, I'm not doing anything then, potentially. If you move voluntarily, attack, or use an action or ability, well, I'm going to use my movement action to on exhaust, so I guess that counts as using an action. So I stand up. But yeah, I would still be able to OOR 1, 2, 3, 4 with Maze Runner. Earthshaker may not be able to attack next round, which is a shame, but we shall see. All right, but moving on, let's just speed this up. So I think we're going to say Logic Breaker is done because we are not going to move with him. Yes, Logic Breaker is done. Now we will go with Game Changer. So let's go, what, 1, 2, 3. Maybe we'll go here. And then we will do an attack, bring us to 4 rage. That will give him his extra power die. We're gonna get 1 here. I think maybe I'll save, how many tokens is he gonna leave in the second ability window? Just 3. I think these tokens are enough for him to wound, hopefully. So let's use, oh, well, I guess he wouldn't even really have a window technically to use Arrow Barrage after his attack. I think I'm okay on break tokens, so maybe, okay, let's just use Arrow Barrage to get 2 opening tokens then, just to be safe. So it's going to bring us to a total +5 to hit, so we need 3 or higher. Boom. That's a 2. We will Fate reroll that. That's a 5. So we hit with that, and that's going to give us 3 black and a red. No extra breaks. Oh, we get an extra red because we were at 4 rage. So our BP is the Michi Tentacle. Oh man, we got one that I really didn't want to get. Oh, all Titans, it's an instinct response, so Mazimer doesn't help us there. Ooh, this is rough. Because we also do not have a window to use Teleresuscitation to have Logic Breaker stand up. Ouch. Okay, well, that's a shame. I don't think there's anything that we're going to be able to do about that. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll for this. Ooh, both of these are very cocked, but it won't matter. All right, so that's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We wound. All Titans in Zone 1 gain 1 danger and suffer knockdown. 1 danger. Knockdown. Falling. Turn them to their side. And then this will go into our wound pile. Did I? Oh, I did not give Logic Breaker a danger yet. Let me do that. Okay. 3 wounds. This fight is not going great considering we have the Wise Providence. But it's going to give us a BP2 in there. Stopped in 3, 2, oh gosh. 3, 2, 1. BP1. Then we'll take out an AI1, get an AI2. So I think it's 50-50 now between AI1s and 2s, right? Yes, okay. Okay, we're gonna stop in 3, 2, 1. AI1. Cool. At least we have that going for us, which is nice. Okay. I'll cut back to Game Changer. And tokens we can leave. We can leave break and opening. Oops, gotta take these out. That back over here. We'll leave 1 break, 1 opening, and then what else can we do? We can do an opening or a break. Let's do break. Put these away. And yeah, oh man, it's a shame that we can't use teleresuscitation right now. All right, that's gonna end this Titan round. On exhaust, our Argonauts, those are good. Draw our AI card. Right tentacle swipe. Temenos swipes at you with one of its innumerable tentacles. This is going to be closest Titan in front in range. Okay, it is a zone attack, but luckily Logic Breaker is the only one who's going to be getting attacked here. So we're going to get a Despair token. We're going to roll to see if we can avoid that with Logic Breaker. That is a 4. That does not avoid it, so now we're going to have 2 Despair tokens with him. He does not have any things that allow us to negate the effects of any Despair tokens. That's unfortunate. Okay, sorry. Oh, and if we had 3 or more fate, we would have had to gain another Despair token, which I think would prevent him from using movement or combat actions. But we're going to have 3 dice here, and we need a 10 or higher to evade. We'll get 2 free rerolls. We can still use the rerolls even though we're knocked down, because it's a defensive, or I guess maybe it is defensive statistic, but I think these are considered passives. So, okay, so still no, what's it called? No evasions, if I can find it. There we go. So we are about to take 6 danger. We can get our 2 armor dice. We cannot use reinforce. We cannot use block. We're reducing that down to 5 danger. Oh boy. And that is going to put us at 10 danger. That's going to be an obel draw. Oh, and I have not been sharing our Logic Breaker screen there, and I've not even been sharing the attack. So we need to do the obel draw, just making sure there's nothing else I could have done here. We have tumble, but we didn't suffer crash. We only suffered knocked down. We had nothing that could give us rock steady. Oof. Big oof. And we won't be able to use second chance here. All right, so let's hope that we have a you live. Amazing. Okay. All right, so let's shuffle these up. I'm not paying attention to which one is which. And then we're going to roll just roll a die here. 4 mod 2 is 0. So we don't move any of those around. Okay. So now after final attack, knock back 8 to the left, and then Labyrinth 1. Ooh. 1, 2. So he's going to get knocked back into the wall there. He can still use Tumble, because it doesn't have a cost to it. And if we don't succeed on this, we are going to have to... Dang. We're going to have to draw another Obel. What am I doing here? I want his yellow die. All right, come on. 6 or higher. No! All right, well, let's get that's our Obel. Oh, man, I don't want to lose my logic breaker. Shoot. Also, yeah, for when we survived that first Obel, I didn't say it, but like we could not have used his logic break ability because we were knocked down. So we had no way to stand up. Oh man, knocked down logic breaker is just crappy. I really should have I should not have used my movement to unexhaust the Temenos scale shield. It was not worth it. I should have known that getting knocked down with him would have been a way worse result. All right, so we're going to shuffle these around before we do our awakening roll. Oh, gosh. All right, and that's going to be, we'll move that down 1. That over here. Now we need to do our awakening roll. That's an 8. Goodbye, logic breaker. Oh, wait a second. What I can actually do, because we haven't used any of our nymphs. Hell yeah, and we totally should. Because one Titan has already died, or one Titan has already drawn an Obel. Logic breaker already drew an Obel and survived. We are about to die from an Obel draw. So we are going to summon the Amalthean Nymph. Oh, amazing. All right, so let's do this. Boom. Boom. This is when we're bringing out the big guns here. We didn't have to use any of our nymphs in our pursuer fight. This one's not going as well for us. Amalthean Nymph. And we are down to 1 summoning charge left. And we treat this Titan as if they drew the You Live Obel trauma card. Additionally, they lose 3 danger and 3 fate. So let's put this one face down so we know we don't have it anymore. And we are still knocked down. Right, there's nothing that would have allowed us to stand up. But we will go down from 9 danger to 6, and then we're going to go down from 2 fate to 0. All right. Cool. Now, are we fine? Oh no, we need a Labyrinth 1, and of course we have a nice, beautiful, I think the only way we can put it is like this, right? Because it has to go in front of an adjacent to, oh man, well I guess we can move. He can move through Labyrinth tile, so this is not the end of the world. Okay. Yeah, now we are done with that attack. Now we will do signature. Oh, this goes here. And it's going to be furthest Titan not in front in range. Earthshaker is the furthest, but he is 7 away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he is not in range of the Temenos. Instead, he will go after our Maze Runner, who is 1, 2, 3, 4 away. And Maze Runner just has to, she's going to use Pursuer Ultimatum, I think. Gain of Fate for that. And reflex back 1, 2, 3. Just with their superior reflex, because now we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 away. So Temenos is going to end up here. No tiles got crushed there, I don't think. No. So we get a despair token with her, but she does not. She out of reach of aid, so we don't have to worry about the actual attack. And then we are still going to Labyrinth 1. That's going to be a Z tile. And we can place that. I think this is the only position that we can do that in. Yeah, okay. That's good enough. Boom. Okay, that is done, and now we are back to a Titan round. Ooh, and actually during the signature, during one of those windows of opportunity, I'm going to have used a Pursuer Protocol charge to reflex Earthshaker forward 1, because then that puts him, if he moves 7, he could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He could now get within range to attack Temenos. We will probably only get 3 attacks off this round. But the other thing that we can do that we'll keep in mind is that we'll probably end up wanting to use the Solitude Nymph during this fight, so that we can get an opportunity to skip an AI. So I think I probably just want to go with Maze Runner since there's still a BP1 on top. Let's do that. All right, she has 2 despair tokens, but she can ignore the penalty of one of them, so she's gonna only have -1 precision from that. So that's gonna leave her, if she were to attack right now, she would have so she'd have +3, so -1, she'd be at +2 precision. Let's I think that's okay. Let's just go with that. So she is going to attack. She's going to go up to 5 rage. Do we want to use a charge of teleresuscitation right now? I don't think we need to, because we can also use the Argo abilities immediately before any Titan's turn. Okay, so then let's get 2 dice here. We need a 6 or higher to hit. It's a 4 and an 8. We will re-roll the 4. That's a 2. Ooh, I really should have used Arrow Barrage. Oh well. All right, so we're gonna get 2 reds from Maze Rake. Oh, we're only gonna have 3 reds for this. But we have how many power reroll? Oh, whoops, we only have 1 power reroll. I was thinking we were gonna have 2 for this. Big mistake. 5 is doable. Oh, we are on a Labyrinth tile, so we'll have, Temenos will have -1 AT, so we only need 4 on this. That'll help a good deal. If your weapon has a spear trait, immediately place 1 break token in the Kratos pool. It does, because we are using the Maze Rake. Cool. All right, just 1 at a time here. 2. Beautiful. 3. We just need 1 more. 4. That's enough. Cool, because we have a -1 AT, so we are good. We wound. She's going to gain the Fear Condition card, so we're gonna get rid of 1 of these despair tokens, which is great. And then our we're going to get the Fear Condition card here. And this will go into our wound pile. Go to 4 wounds. It's going to put another BP2 into our BP deck. Stop in, oh gosh. Oh, why am I struggling with this? Stop in 3, 2, 1. BP2. And we are going to get take out an AI1, put in an AI2. Stop in 3. Gosh, as soon as I start counting, it's like, that's when the cards jump out. We're going to stop in 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh, nope, we're going to reshuffle this because I cannot shuffle this morning for some reason. 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh, this is embarrassing. 3, 2, 1, 2. That was horrible. And I have enough caffeine in my system this morning. That's not even an excuse right now. Okay, clear the Kratos pool. Let's move this along. Clear the Kratos pool. Then we are at 5 rage, so we are going to get at least 2 opening, 1 break, and then I think we'll have a choice. No, we won't. It's going to be 2 opening, 2 break. Oh no, we could have had 2 power reroll if we needed it. My mistake. Then we're going to have 3 reposition if we want it. Where do we want to start going with her? Maybe head over southeast towards the Earth Shaker, so we kind of have a little bit more of like a 2-2 split. Yeah. So let's reposition and go 1, 2, 3. Did I increment? Do we have 4 wounds in here? Yeah, I did increment that. Okay. Oh, actually, I could also vault. No, I could not vault. I can ignore the Labyrinth tile for my attack because of Maze Rake, but I could not ignore it during, like, for the sake of... Oh, well, during an attack. The second ability window is still during the attack. So I think what I could do is if I wanted to, I could go reposition and then vault. I don't remember if I can still continue my reposition after that, but I don't think I even want to do that. I think I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3 because if I reposition over here, I'm going to be stuck over on this side, and I think I want to get closer to Earthshaker. So we'll do that. And what else do we have? We still have our movement. Take this out. Do we want to use our movement, or do we want to get Pursuer Ultimatum back? I'm not sure. I don't think there's anything specific that I was going to end up trying to do with her movement, so maybe we'll just get Pursuer Ultimatum back, and we'll just move on with it. All right, so she went. Who do we want going next? Let's have Earthshaker go. And then maybe after that, we'll decide if maybe if there's something that moves Temenos as a result of this BP, maybe we can get an attack off with Logic Breaker, but most likely not. So we'll probably end up doing Earthshaker, then Logic Breaker, just get him to stand up and move, maybe do some positioning there. And then maybe last we'll go with Game Changer so that we can lose him a fate, or maybe we'll alternate that just so we can really decide where we want to position Logic Breaker before Temenos goes. Because what's the requirement for this? Yeah, okay. All right, so go with Earthshaker. He's going to use his Eolipile engine to gain 2 movement and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then he will attack there. He's going to go up to 5 rage. Get 2 dice. We're going to have +3, +4, +5, we're going to have +6 for this, so we need 2 or higher. That's a crit. Nice. Okay. Anything from first ability window? I don't think so. Ooh, maybe in retrospect I should have used Arrow Barrage for the break, but it's too late now. We have Leading Tentacle. The wound response from this is going to be all Titans on... Ooh. Okay, actually that's not so bad. All Titans on Labyrinth tiles gain 2 fate. Logic Breaker would be the only person who gains fate from that, and luckily he lost three fate from the Amalthean Nymph. So we're going to get, let's see, 2 black and a red from our weapon. We're going to have 1 bonus power from our weapon, so we only need really 5 or higher. Then we're going to get 2 extra reds here, 1 from the Titan sheet, 1 from the Kratos table. Okay, let's do this just all at once. Oh, this one's cocked. Put these over on the side here, but we should be good. Oh, that's plenty overall. That's 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 from the one. So we exceeded by 5, which is awesome. Wound response, let's see, does he have any? No despair tokens to get rid of. All Titans on Labyrinth tiles gain 2 fate, just Logic Breaker. Goes from 0 fate to 2. Boom. These over here. And then we will just do some reorganizing here. Boom. Wound that. Go to 5 wounds. Get a BP3 in here. This is our first BP3, is that right? Yeah, because we tried on a BP2 earlier and we failed on that. So stop in 3, 2, 1. Sure. We'll keep, oh, okay. Well, BP3's on top. Then we're going to take out an AI2 and put an AI3 in. Stop. Maybe if I just do it like this, maybe this is more. Stop in 3, 2, 1. AI1. Ooh. Well, I'm going to be using the Solitude Nymph anyway. Yeah, because I think what I'll do is I'll, like, yes, I could say, oh, well, I just won't attack with the other 2 Titans, and then we just take the AI1 and then we use the Solitude Nymph in a future round or something like that. But I am thinking that, especially if we wound this BP3, I'm hoping that we should be able to end the fight next round. So let's go back to this. We'll clear our Kratos pool. Then we will get 2 opening from Pure Asclepios. We will get another 2 opening from our Kratos table, and then we'll also get 2 break. Let's see, we could do, we could do Provoke. Provoke was its first or second ability window, or should I think I would have had to do it. I think I always forget about Provoke because I think it's technically only during the first ability window. I think Provoke is something I'm going to allow myself to retcon if I want to do it. Do I want to have done it? Two, 3, 4. Nah, I won't do it. I do want to try to remember to actually use Provoke during its ability window, but like when I'm thinking about the first ability window, I feel like I'm only thinking of like auto break or those auto token abilities, and I kind of forget about other things. So that's my fault. But let's move on here. Second ability window. Are we done with him? Yes, I think so. He uses movement. Yeah, so his turn is done. We're going to go next with Game Changer just so we can go last with Logic Breaker for his positioning. So let's use Eolipile engine to stand up. Put knockdown away. Standing up now. Then we'll probably want to get that break token from Arrow Barrage. Let's do that. And then can we could ignore Labyrinth tiles for the purposes, oh wait, no. That is for Earthshaker, that is not for Game Changer. Ooh, actually, instead of using Eolipile engine to stand up, I will use teleresuscitation. So we would have had to do this before his turn, technically, I think. Or actually, I'm not sure that it matters for Argo abilities. But I think I would like to, this is dangerous, but I think I would like to get onto that Labyrinth tile to get the -1 AT, excuse me, from being on the Labyrinth tile. Ariadne's logic, is it? Yeah. So let's do, so instead we're going to use Eolipile engine to get the +2 movement. And that would allow us to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we will attack. And we're going to have +2, +3, 4, 5, 6, +7 from being in a blind spot. So we just can't crit miss. That's a 3. Ooh, do I want to Fate reroll this and try to crit him? Yeah, let's do it. Why not? 4, okay. Oh my gosh, I was really nervous it was going to be a 1. I was not thinking positive thoughts during that roll. Oh, okay. Well, at least it was not. Okay, so we are going to get 2 black and a red from the Mazimer, and we will get a black from our Titan die. We will get another red from our Kratos table. We will draw our BP card here because we have no first ability window things that we want to do. Right? Yes, that's true. We need to get 7 or higher because we're attacking from a Labyrinth tile. And, man, we are just not doing anything good with the Mazimer here. But our instinct is going to be perform signature against the attacker. Ooh, and that is not going to be good because... Oof. By doing that, the signature is going to have the after attack of Labyrinth 1 on it. And yeah, that's going to mean that Game Changer is going to end up having to draw an Obel on that. But at least for that one, he'll get the extra You Live card in there. So 66% chance he'll survive that. Anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's go ahead and roll this. That is 2, 4, 5, 6. I think this should end up being enough. 7, 8, 9. So we beat it by 2. All right, so that's going to wound. It was not a crit, so we're just going to get a generic double wound in our wound stack. And we are going to... Oh, was I even showing? Did I just switch, or was I actually not showing his window that whole time? I don't actually saw the transition. I didn't actually see the transition, so I hope I was showing the right screen. We'll get a double wound in there. We're gonna go up to 7 wounds. Then, what am I doing over here? No, I need to take out the lowest level BP. It's gonna be a BP 1. Put in another BP 3. Stop shuffling and let's do it this way. 3, 2, 1. BP2. And then the BP3 we just wounded goes on the bottom. AI1 comes out. AI3 goes in. It is his ultimate. All right, stop shuffling in 3, 2, 1. AI2. We're probably going to be using the Solitude Nymph on this, I think. Anyway, so it doesn't really matter. All right, now back to this. Boom, boom. Clear these out. And we are going to get, see, break and opening. And we will get, we could get 2 more break. Yeah, I think I'm going to prioritize the break here. Take these out. And no reposition, correct? Correct. Ooh, actually, we might be able to avoid that oboe draw. Okay, I have an idea. We have multiple sources of reflex here, and one of them is an advanced reflex. All right, so that will end his attack, which also ends his turn, but we still have to resolve that signature. So put Tentacle Strike here. Ah. Oh my gosh, Maze Quake. Oh shoot, okay. So Temenos is doing the attack against the attacker. His signature, Tentacle Strike. Tentacle strikes you with one, Temenos strikes you with one of its innumerable tentacles. We're gonna gain a Despair token. Lovely. Oh yeah, during that window we can do one, oh actually no, we're gonna use, I think we need to use this reflex because we would like to avoid going up in fate here because we don't want to, what am I trying to say? We don't want to get to 4 fate. So we're gonna reflex there with the Pursuer Protocol. Then we will do our attack roll. So we're gonna get 3 evasion dice, trying to evade 3 hits here at 10 or higher. We have no free rerolls. I'm not gonna reroll. Get our armor roll here. I could use fate. Oh, sorry, I should have moved Temenos up 1. There. Do I want to? So let's see. We are at risk of taking 6 danger. That would, at worst, put us at 8 danger, which would be a major trauma. I think I'd rather save the fate. Yeah. I don't think 1 armor die is going to do a ton for me. All right. So that's going to be, we don't have any armor reroll, correct? Correct. So we're only going to reduce that by 1. So we gain 5 danger. It's going to go to 7. Oh, actually, in hindsight, maybe I should have used that reinforced because the crit miss effect causes me to gain 2 danger. So we're okay being at 7, but that could have been bad if we didn't get any danger reduction there. That's going to have us draw a major trauma. Place a Z Labyrinth tile under your Titan and suffer knockdown. Well, we cannot place a Labyrinth tile, and Maze reconfiguration would not apply here because it's not Temenos being instructed to place a Labyrinth tile. It's just we are being instructed by this trauma card, so I don't think Maze reconfiguration applies here, but we do still suffer knockdown. You just cannot stay up, Can you? All right. Oh. Well. Shoot. This does have a huge effect because oh man, I can't retcon this either because it would have affected the attack. Oh, I had 2 windows of opportunity. Oh man. I might oh man, I really hope I don't lose my what's it called? Game Changer Titan here. What I should have done was I should have just accepted that I was going to have to roll an extra die. And I don't know, I couldn't have predicted that the major, like I was going to get knocked down by the major trauma. That was a little unpredictable, but it does really screw us because now we cannot use our advanced reflex to get off of the tile before this labyrinth from Temenos, so we are going to have to draw an obol here. But in this case, we will get our extra you live card in here. Oh, some of these cards are a little messed up. Maybe I should get some like sleeves that have opaque backgrounds so I don't end up accidentally remembering which ones have which damage on them. We're gonna just look away. I'm shuffling, and then we're gonna roll our die. Boom, 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 boom. All right. We'll roll our die here. That's 6. That divides by 3 evenly. So we're just gonna draw this top one. You live! Okay, so we're not gonna lose that fate because I don't think we're supposed to. I'm gonna shuffle these up. Boom. Okay. Very nice. I am so thankful. I can't remember which adventure hub that came from completing, but that saved our butts probably. All right, so we live. Excellent. That ends the signature. And that also ends his turn. And now it is just Logic Breaker's turn. We will gain a fate to stand up. Get rid of this knockdown. And I think all we want to do is just use Logic Breaker to get closer, because as it stands, if we go into the primordial round and we use the Solitude Nymph to ignore this AI card, then the Temenos is just going to end up doing signature against Maze Runner over in the northeast up there. She can handle that. She'll have to roll 4 dice because she's at 4 fate, but that's okay. And there's a high likelihood that she survives that attack. And then we will have 4 Titans to try to get our last bit of damage off here. All right, let's do it. So we are going to move, and during this movement, we're going to gain a fate with a Logic Breaker to do Theseus' Logic so that we can ignore an obstacle or chasm terrain tile. I'm going to ignore, well, yeah, I guess the walls of the labyrinth technically, like they're not, the walls are obstacles, right? That'd be really stupid if it was like, oh, actually this effect doesn't apply to the labyrinth tiles. Red lines on these tiles should be treated as obstacles and obscuring. So yeah, I guess like we can just ignore all the red lines on one of these tiles is how I think I would rule it. So we went to 4 fate. So we have how much movement? Just 5, right? Nothing is giving us extra movement. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then we're going to use attack to get our things back here, and that will end his turn, and that will end, that's going to end the Titan round. Get these things back. Boom, boom, boom. we do get to draw this first, so maybe there's a chance that we decide we're okay with resolving it. It is Maze Light. The giant maw looms over you. Its light offers nothing but emptiness. The target would be priority target, and Logic Breaker still has the priority target, so I don't really think I want to risk losing him, because I think there's a good chance I can try to get out of this fight without losing anybody. Yeah, so we are going to use the Solitude Nymph. Boom. Let's go ahead and mark that in our Scribe app. Okay. And so we discard that now, right? Discard the drawn AI without resolving it, treat it as resolved. Amazing. So now we proceed to the signature for this Titan, not in front, in range. That is going to be Maze Runner, so it's going to be boom, boom, boom. So this tile should come out. I'm going to face that way. Oh gosh, let me stand up to position this. Right, I think that's right. All right, then we're gonna have 4 dice, 4 hits to evade here. So move my entire dice tray. And roll with this one. We need 10 or higher to evade. We have no evasion bonuses right now. Those are all hits. Let's see, I am at risk of taking 8 danger, but I don't trust that I'm going to actually roll a 10 here, so I'm not going to re-roll these. But I will gain a fate to reinforce. Oh, she should also get another despair token. Always forget about that. And so we're going to get 4 armor dice here. Wow, her armor rolls are excellent. So she goes from gaining 8 danger to 4, so it's going to put her at major trauma. She goes up to 5 danger there. Nice, and that just puts her barely within the major trauma range. All right, what is our thing? Oh, come on. Oh my God. Does she have second chance? No. Oh, this is such baloney. Because she's going to suffer a knockdown and be on a labyrinth tile, so she's going to have to draw an obol as well from the signature. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is going to go back into our major trauma deck. Going to get an O or a square tile here. Do I really care about how I position this? Let's do it like this, because she can attack through, I mean, hopefully she survives. Please don't die. Please don't die. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see, is there any special thing that I'm missing here? No. Yeah, she gets rock steady at 9 danger because of her armor, but she does not have that yet. So Rocksteady is great for being able to not get knocked down, but not helpful. She will get a temporary evasion token, so if we survive and have to take another attack at some point, maybe it'll help her. But we're going to draw an obol. This is going to go back into our deck for this draw. All right, and I mean, unfortunately, I know that the damaged one is the God form one, so I know that's a you live, but I'm not looking as I do this. I'm shuffling around. Oh gosh, well, if I don't look, then I'd start dropping cards. All right, then we're gonna roll our die here. 1. Oh boy. No! Dang, and we don't have a nymph to save us this time. Is there anything that I'm forgetting about that would save us at the last second here? I don't think so. All right, let's go ahead and roll our die. 2, that is not a 10. Goodbye, Maze Runner. It was not meant to be. Oof. Okay. But also, I'm just doing this battle for fun, so I don't even think these, I don't think I would, like, resolve the after battle effects of this in terms of, like, losing Titans and everything. This is literally just for fun, because we beat Temenos without having to fight him, technically, so we're still doing everything we can. Wait, that comes out. And then let's just do this. Okay, that's even, so that goes like that, just back in, and now we are in the Titan round once again. All right, we have a BP2. Who do we want to attack right now? We'll save Game Changer for assuming we get a BP3 next, so Earthshaker has the next best chance to wound, so let's go with him and then hope we get a BP3 next, and then we'll go with Game Changer, and hopefully that'll be it. Boom. Activated. And he can attack from where he's standing right now. What do we get at 6 rage? We get a diversion token, which allows us to ignore fail responses. Hopefully we don't even care about that. I think we're happy with the pool as is, and then maybe we'll use Arrow Barrage to get an extra break for Game Changer's attack. So we're gonna get 2 dice here. Nope, not deadly. And we're gonna have +1, that's +4, that's +5. We have +5 to hit. Ooh, actually, even though we could attack from here, I'm gonna move. No. Okay, well, actually, I'm saying that we're not gonna worry about the after attack or the after battle effects of this. So let's increase our chance to wound here with that -AT. We need, what do we say it was total? +5, so we need 3 or higher to hit. We're going up to 6 rage. That is gonna have to re-roll the crit die, but we get 1 hit. That's what we needed, right? We needed a 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, okay. Double checking my math, but that's 2 hits. It's a full hit. Where is our 0? 2 black. 3 red, right? Yes. Boom. 8. A Hind Maze Carapace. So we really need 6 on the dice because we have +1 power from Periscopios and we have -1 AT from being on the Labyrinth tile. Wound response is going to be perform signature against the attacker, of course it is. Okay, that's 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that wounds. We'll end up performing signature against the attacker. This is where, like, with having that, like when I had got the Pyramidion, this is where it's so helpful to be able to have, like, the ability to see the top BP card, because you can tell what responses are coming up, so you can avoid these like knockdown and knockbacks effects from Temenos. You can better plan to be like, oh, well, there's a, we can try to avoid this wound response that says perform signature against the attacker by attacking with what at the time was Maze. Anyway, I digress. So this will get wounded. Go into our wound pile here. It's going to put us up at 8 wounds. It's going to add another BP3 to our BP deck. Stop in 3, 2, 1. Oh, shoot. It's a BP1. I don't want that. Then we're going to take out an AI2 and put in an AI3. 3, 2, 1. An AI2 on top. Oh, the other thing about this is that I really don't want to keep the effects from this battle because then I would have to deal with Olympia would get a Fated Nemos because she died with the fear effect, as she has no ability to get rid of this, so she would get a Fated Nemos, which would suck. Didn't even consider that until now. Okay, so we did the AI, we escalated. All right, let's go back to, who did we just attack with? Earthshaker. These come out. These come out. These come out. We're gonna get 2 break, 4 opening, 2, 3, 4, and the diversion that should be in here. Oh, I totally forgot about provoke. Oh, actually, well, it would go to him anyway, and yeah, it doesn't really matter because provoke wouldn't have done anything anyway. Is that all for second ability window? I think so. Oh, we can actually lose a danger here because of the Pyrrhus Clipios effect. Forgot about that. All right, and now we are getting signature done against us. So that is going to be 3 dice to evade. They're all 10s, so it's just nothing's going to happen. Dang it. No free rerolls. Our dice rolls are not amazing today. Wait, didn't I feel like I crit on a card a while back, and then I just actually forgot that I was supposed to resolve a crit response on it. I have no idea which card it was, but I remember rolling a crit, and I don't think I ever resolved a crit response, so whoops, I made the fight harder for myself. Okay, so we're about to do our armor roll, right? We're at risk of taking 6 danger. That's not terrible, but we're still going to reinforce. We get 3 armor dice. Let's do these 3. Put this back here. It's 2 reduction, so we're going to take 4 danger, which is going to keep us at a major trauma. Come on, it's got to be a positive now, right? Yes, you may discard 2 condition tokens, a tokenless condition card or an ambrosia token, or lose 2 fate. Well, I forgot to get rid of, or I forgot to gain a despair token. That doesn't help us, but those condition stuff just reminded me of that. Tokenless condition card or an ambrosia token or lose 2 fate. That's the only one that really matters to us, so we'll go down from 3 fate to 1. Put that back. Then we have a window of opportunity here to reflex, finally taking advantage of this. Reflex off, and that's going to be a labyrinth tile. Oh, I think I probably did some of this wrong, because I think even when I was getting the opportunity to wait a second. This was supposed to get destroyed. I just moved it out of the way, I think, and then didn't destroy it. Yeah. I think even when maze reconfiguration. Oh no, actually I don't think so. For maze reconfiguration, it does say draw an oval instead of placing the labyrinth tile if it would go under a Titan who is already on a labyrinth tile. So I think I've been tracking the right labyrinth tiles to be placing here. So this is correct. Boom. Signature. Done. Resolved. And lastly, or hopefully lastly, no, not lastly, because we have a BP1 on top, we're going to go with Logic Breaker. And he has nothing to ignore the effects of, so he's at risk of having -3 to precision here, which may be okay, because he's gonna, let's see, that would bring him to +4 total. He can go in the blind spot, you get +5. So yeah, that's fine. We don't really care that much about it. So we will move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We will attack. We have -3 from the Despair. We have +3 from Theseus's Razor, so that cancels out. We have +4 from our opening tokens, and we have +1 from being in a blind spot. That's +5 total, so we need a 3 or higher to hit. Of course, we roll a 2. That's how our rolls are going today. 9. That's good. I'll take that. We do get an auto break 1. We have how much power? We have 4 power reroll at this point. Actually, we have 5 power reroll. We're gonna have, let's see, 4, 5, 6 red dice. And we need 4 or higher to hit, or 4 or higher to wound. That's plenty. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Maybe this will matter. So let's just do reroll this one. Still nothing. Okay. So we got 9. So we exceeded it by 5. That's a bit of a nice one to crit on, but oh well. So we will. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. We are getting all of these damn signature cards. Oh my gosh. All right. So we wound. We're going to lose one of our Despair tokens, but we're about to get it back very shortly. It's going to bring us up to 9 wounds, and then it's going to add a BP2 into our BP deck. Stop in 3, 2, 1. It's a BP2. I'm actually happy about that. AI 1 comes out, right? Yep, so that'll come out. You're going to have to shuffle the other one back in as well. Oh, no. Wasn't another AI 1. Okay, so our AI and BP 1s are all gone, I think. 3, 2, 1. AI 2. Switch back. Oh, whoops, I didn't switch cameras in the first place. All right, so these are all going to come out. Signature is going to get queued up. We are going to get we're going to get 4 breaks from our overbreak because we exceeded it by 5, so we can go up to 5 from overbreak, but we only have 4 overbreak abilities that we're going to use. Elation, we can get rid of this other Despair token to get an opening token. And I think that's it in terms of our ability, second ability window stuff. Yeah, I don't care about carving. All right, we'll take those out. That'll come out. And then signature time. So it's going to be 4 dice to evade. We need 10 or higher. That's 4 hits. I'm not going to fate reroll any of those, I don't think. Oh, but we do have 2 free rerolls, so might as well. Nope. That is 4 hits. We're about to take 8 danger. Let's definitely block one of those. About to take 6 danger. I mean, we'd have to reduce it down to 3 danger to avoid getting an obel draw. Why not? If we're, well, screw it. It's only 1. I'm not going to use the reinforce. Maybe I'm dumb. Boom. All right, so we only reduce it by 1. So what, we go 6 danger, 5 danger. So we're about to be at 11 danger, which is going to be an obel draw. Checking if there's anything else that we need to do here. No. Okay. All right, this is the one that we had on top. Ooh, well, we are going to second chance that. Yes, I'm going to use the armor. It's going to gain a fate. These will get shuffled together. Okay, roll a die. 8 mod 2 is 0. You died. Boom. Not a 10, so we die. Oof. Goodbye, Logic Breaker. Oh, Temenos should have turned during that. Like that. Shuffle these around. That's a 7. This goes to the back. Okay. Oh, I don't know why I was on him. Yeah, there we go. We can see Logic Breaker dead now. Man, I really hope. I feel like maybe I've been messing up the camera work this whole fight. I hope that's not the case. All right, we are. Oh my gosh, almost 2 hours into this part of the video. I don't remember how long the first part was, but all right, we're going with our game changer now. It's going to go over here. We are going to use teleresuscitation for him to stand up. Boom. And then we are going to just run up and attack, I think, right? Yeah. Yep, I think so. So move 1, 2. Gain a rage. And he's going last, so he can lose 1 fate from his fated Nemos. So we go down to 2 fate, and he's going to attack. Let's see, he would have +2, +3. He would need 5 or higher. Let's get the 2 openings here, just to help make sure he hits. So he needs 3 or higher to hit. Boom. That's a 9. I'm not going to bother trying to crit because it's not a BP3. And boom. Also, I guess if I'm saying that I wouldn't, like, from this fight, I'm not going to like keep the effects of the Titans dying, then like I also can't get the resources from this fight. I think that's fair. So even if I got a core, I wouldn't be able to keep it. Oops, we got to get rid of the signature here, replace it with this. It's going to be 3 black, 2 red, and we're going to use Death Follows, so it's going to be a 4th black. And we have an extra power from Mazimer. So we need to get 6 or higher on this. I like our chances. Okay, well, this one's cocked. Let me re-roll it. Okay. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, I think that wounds. So with that, the Temenos takes his 10th wound. The labyrinth encloses all around you, and time seems to all but run out. Yet you don't relent. You never relent, for there is only one true path anyone can take. Forward. There is no maze if you push on. As if infuriated by your very thoughts, the Temenos rises high above the skyline. For the very first time, you can witness the extent of its slug-like body. It bears down on you, a gloomy song resounding from its circular maw. You answer with the most primal scream, the echo of the song of life. And you charge, and against impossible odds, one of you deals the killing blow. The creature releases an agonized roar and collapses to the ground, sending a shockwave of dust and debris throughout the city. When it settles, you are the ones left standing. You are the ones who triumph over despair. You are the Argonauts. And just like that, it's over. The death of the Temenos is witnessed by many, but felt by all. It's as if a black pall has been lifted from the island and its inhabitants. A living nightmare from which one could not wake has suddenly ended. Dark thoughts and darker urges, now mere phantoms dying in the first light of day. An unbearable weight lifted from one's shoulders. People later report bursting into tears of joy or relief, or laughing as if they have no care in the world. Embracing strangers, confessing feelings, throwing down their arms and refusing to fight, as if all the happiness and love and goodness have been, until this point, bottled up, hidden away, and stifled. Crete is not fixed overnight, far from it, as the stone bones of the labyrinth jutting from the ruins of Knossos can attest. But something does change. Hope has returned, and with hope, anything is possible. The Argo oversees the relief effort, its crew an impartial force that can mediate between warring factions and its titans of seemingly unlimited power on cleanup and construction duty. You watch, mesmerized, as the titans carry labyrinth blocks the size of houses all the way from the upper terraces of the city to the shore. "They are building a new harbor, I hear," says the old priest, joining you. "One much grander than the old one. They want to sway the Nubians and Rhodesians to call into port here, they say." He adds in a conspiratorial tone, "Those symmetrical blocks are the perfect building material." I'm going to reread that because that was terribly read by me. "They say," he adds in a conspiratorial tone, "those symmetrical maze blocks are the perfect building material." "Who would have thought?" one of you answers with a chuckle. You look into the Minoan palace, by some miracle spared most of the devastation, with quiet apprehension. It's not quite over yet. The old spinner is not with us, so we will not see that paragraph. Now follow the first condition that applies. If all factions unfriendly or worse, see 133. Not true. If Labyrinthians' diplomacy is the highest, see 132. Boom, boom. Labyrinthians' diplomacy is the highest. Go to 132. You arrive at the palace just as the giant relief depicting the royal family of the Minoan dynasty is being torn down. The massive stone slab hits the floor with a hollow thud and breaks in two. You would expect cheering, but the wrecking crew just goes about their business and begins cleanup. That's the attitude you've seen most prevalent after the battle. Quiet, constructive work, almost like a penance. There is, of course, a reason for it. The Minoan dynasty has fallen, their last heirs having died or fled, the Horned Guard has disbanded, and the Hornsworn have all but bled out. The Labyrinthian cult has come out on top, but that was as hollow a victory as the sound of the shattering relief. The cult has lost its god and its prophet, and its one and only tenet, the truth, has been revealed a sham by you. A religious movement rarely survives one of these. All three? No, there is no coming back from that. There were, of course, self-proclaimed successors to the punished, and even splinter cults, but you made sure none of them have flourished. In the absence of royal rule and divine creed, the masses of the Labyrinthians, and Cretans as a whole, turn to you. You are not natural-born leaders, as far as you know, nor are you politicians or philosophers, but during your voyage you found a purpose worthy of following, the creed of hope and unity, and that is what you have tried to pass on. It looks like it's catching on. "Ah, the Argonauts!" exclaims Persepheios, a former labyrinthian with a face grooved by the maze pattern, snapping you out of your thoughts. "Come to put the finishing touches on New Crete?" His smile is genuine and full of promise. "I am glad. The rest of the Provisional Council is waiting. I'm sure they will want to hear what you have to say." And so you are led to the former throne room. The throne itself is gone, replaced by a large oak table. The men and women seated there, former labyrinthians, ex-Horned Guard captains, and horn-sworn leaders, all turn to you. Even the cloaked figure standing in the balcony archway lends an ear. They need a leader, guidance, or your blessing. What will it be, Argonauts? So now we have some instruction. Number 1, if B11 is marked and the Minoan heritage Argonaut is alive, the latter is true. Let's check B11. Oops. What am I doing? Delirious. B11 is not marked. Ooh, I wonder what B11 was. If H3 is marked only, and that was the one that we got from being able to kill the Temenos without the battle, right? Yes. So option 2 would be, in this transitional period, Crete will need a strong leader, one with a democratic background and political knowledge, one who is well known to Crete's people, yet is an outsider that can enforce change. You have just the right person, a legend, one who can reignite their spirits. Ooh. Option 3. A blessing, of course. Crete has suffered much, yet even in the depths of despair, their people were not broken. The civil war is over, and they can begin to rebuild, not a dynasty, but a republic. And then option 4 is if C3 is marked, which it's not. So we have to choose between options 2 and 3. I mean, let's put Theseus back in charge. I think that's the most interesting. Let's do it. So we're going to see paragraph 141. Promise. You remember the conversation you had with Theseus, the punished, before you came here. His gruesome transformation mostly reversed, his boyish heroic features shining through despite his age. You will lead this island, Theseus, one of you states plainly. Me? I may have denounced the Labyrinth, but my sins still weigh heavily on my shoulders. Those sins need redeeming. Who better to lead the island than the man who saw it from every angle, noble, rebel, pariah? You know the crooked system, and you know the life of those ground down by it. You hold sway among every group. You can unite them like no one else has been able to. When they learned I was the punished died during the Battle of Knossos. You exchange meaningful glances. And Theseus was freed from captivity. You make it all sound so easy. I tried to save this island once, remember? And look at what it wrought. That was more the gods in Minos' doing than yours, and they're all gone, you insist. And you made a promise. Theseus looks at you with sadness and with hope. A promise, you say? And so it begins. When you announce Theseus' return, the room goes wild with excitement. People cheer and cry. The man who slew the Minotaur, who gave the people a chance against the dynasty, a man of purpose, returned to them. You quietly leave the throne room, confident Theseus will finish what he started and remake Crete just as Ariadne would have wanted. Congratulations! You've won. This concludes Cycle 1 of Aeon Trespass Odyssey, The Truth of the Labyrinth. If B11 is marked, retire the Minoan heritage Argonaut if alive. Mark P5. Is that... if B11 is marked... Okay, I think Mark P5 is independent. I think we're going to mark that either way. Okay, let's see if we can do this. Don't crash. Okay. P5. Completed cycle. 1. And Theseus, we put Theseus in charge of Crete. As you return to the Argo, you think about the last thing Theseus said to you, about a man who approached him on the streets of Athens many years before the eschaton. A man who wanted Theseus to pilot Titans in a war with heavens. When you've taken a breather and are done celebrating, see 145 for the credits. And I'm trying to think of when he said that to us. You think about the last thing Theseus said to you about a man who approached him on the streets of Athens many years ago. Yeah, when did we read that? All right, we have the credits here. I'm not going to read through them all because that's a lot, but we're going to see paragraph 146 for the after credits scene. After credits. That night, all the Argo celebrates, from the lowly deckhand to the aloof philosophers of the last academy, from Alcibiades's grease monkeys to the away teams to you. You have sailed into the unknown and emerged, changed, learned, enlightened, and happy in the knowledge that you have found a purpose. There are many more mysteries to unravel. Your origins, the eschaton, the Argo itself. You will unravel them, one by one. Your Odyssey has just begun. Now, where to start? You are surprised when in the dark of night, a man approaches you, black-clad and of a steely look. You have no idea how he got on board or how he avoided the guards. His robes are dripping, but the liquid is too thick and oily to be water. He unfurls a black-stained papyrus, writ in red. Argonauts, he reads, I have watched your struggle with great interest. You laid low the twisting corrupter, the Temenos, and thus became worthy of an audience. I know who you are, who put you on that forsaken vessel. It is time you learn the true shape of the world. Come to Sparta and meet with me. If you don't, many innocents will suffer. You look at the messenger and smile. You're the Argonauts. You can do anything. Sparta it is then. And that concludes cycle 1. So, a redemption arc for Theseus. We'll see how he does with returning Crete to its, I would say, former glory, but I think the goal is to get beyond the former glory and bring it to something that Theseus and Ariadne had once dreamed it could be. I think we'll close out on that, and maybe I'll see you in some future videos where we will go into cycle 2 and see what this mysterious stranger, what this invitation leads to in the land of Sparta. Take care, all.